Hey, this is Chase Sexton. You're listening to the MotoXpod show.
What's up, you guys? Jeremy McGrath here. You are listening to MotoXpod show.
Welcome back to the Vital MX MotoXpod show, presented by Racetech and Yamaha Motor USA. I'm back in Texas, so the regular group of guys is back in studio. We'll introduce them in just a second. Lots to talk about in this episode. Our guest tonight will be Yamaha Star Racing's Michael Mosiman and Pro Circuit Kawasaki Seth Hammaker. Kris Keefer is going to jump on and talk about Triumph's first ever win, along with FXR's first ever win, one of our sponsors. Thank you very much. But yeah, plenty to get to. We'll recap a little bit with Glendale and the Triple Crown. We're going to talk about Arena Cross. Since we've been in studio, there's been 3 rounds, 1 in Guthrie, Oklahoma, and 2 in Reno. All kinds of great stuff has happened. But before we get rolling in studio, Scotty working the cameras. How's everything looking since everything's been brought back into the studio?
We're back.
We're back.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it looks good.
Okay, good. Glad you're in. And then from 710 Designs, Chase Moore.
What's going on, man?
What's
good
up?
to be back.
We're missing one.
Yeah.
He's sick. TJ sick.
I feel that. If I'm sick, I'm out.
His tummy wants.
You guys are girls.
Yeah.
I guess,
in. You know what? Before we get into the, let's do Racetech. This could be part of the Racetech discussion. Racetech is the world's largest aftermarket motorcycle suspension modification company, and they have over 35 years of experience providing factory-level suspension for the everyday rider. Racetech Gold Valves provide a plush feel with drastically improved bottoming resistance and increased traction. All Racetech products are 100% guaranteed and made in the USA. You can go to racetech.com, find your local service center, get to know your local rep, get them to service your forks, get them to respring it, revalve it if you need. I dropped off my KTM 350 stuff while I was out in California, picked it up. I just got back Sunday night, Monday morning. I haven't installed it yet, but this weekend I'm hoping to get a ride on the spring conversion kit that they put on to that 350 suspension, into the 350 suspension. So it's going to be a good time. Looking forward to that. But yeah, Racetech supporting the show. Go use those guys. They're great. So I was going to bring this up. This could be like almost an email type of question or whatever. But before we get into all the important racing stuff, I always throw this fit when I would have a regular job about guys that would call in because they're sick. Like, I'm just go to freaking work. Because I guess I feel that way because I grew up with my dad in the military, and you don't call in sick. You go to work. If you're super sick, they'll send you home. I mean, I just work, dude. Like I changed a water main leak with the flu, fever, and throwing up. I was out there working. I didn't care. Like I don't know, man. I don't really compute like calling in because my tummy hurts or I'm a little congested.
If my stomach hurts, that's different. But if I have like the flu or something, yeah. I've always had a lot of customer facing jobs though. I wasn't stuck in a ditch. So
I was driving an 18-wheeler, so I was out and at work if I got sick. So what's the point in sitting around?
I had guys like young kids that 17, 18 that would come to work at the city and they'd like call in sick or they'd like, I got to go home. I'm sick. I'm like, be a man.
Yeah.
Work.
My dad.
Be a man. They would get mad at me and I just couldn't understand. My dad. I also always felt like if I call in sick, what do you do when somebody calls in sick when you're at your job that your coworker says I'm sick? What do you think?
Oh, he's just faking.
Hope you get feeling better.
No,
most people go, he's faking. He's full of shit. So I go to work, and if I'm so sick that I can't, the boss will be like, dude, you need to go home. And I'm like, okay, I'll go home.
No, I give everybody the benefit of the doubt.
You're a weird person.
Well, because I'm nice?
Yes.
And give people...
This is repetitive. Yes. You think of people, what was the thing recently? We're like...
I got people Christmas presents?
Yeah. What's wrong with you, man?
Yeah, my dad would have kicked my ass when I was 16, 17, calling into work. So
yeah,
I just go to work.
Dude, anyway, just trips me out. So yeah, MotoXpodShow@gmail.com. Let me know what you think about going to work sick or calling in sick. I'm curious. Okay, let's get to some racing. We haven't been in studio together, really, right? Miss San Diego and A2, but let's focus a little bit on Glendale more than anything. Big news this week. Main event number 3, 450 class, defending champion, Honda HRC Racing's Jet Lawrence dabs his foot or his knee, and he's out. ACL. Big news. Obviously a championship favorite. What does this do in your mind, Chase, for the championship? Because beginning of the year, our co-worker who is sick was like, no, Jet's going to dominate. Everybody else, screw it. I felt like coming into this race, Jet wasn't the favorite still anyway.
Yeah, they're just now kind of they were just now kind of figuring the bike out and getting it back to where they wanted it, and that just sucks, man. Like people are trying to say, maybe he rides with it. Like,
nah,
why? Why?
No,
what's the point? He's so young. Like, just get it fixed.
Yeah, he's gonna get it fixed. I think he may have today.
Yeah, I think he
tomorrow.
said. Yeah,
but and I'm not saying he wasn't a favorite by any means.
Yeah,
I just kind of feel like with him being out, it's like not like, oh, now somebody else has a chance, because everybody else we've seen. We have a championship on our hand anyway.
It's like when Stu went out and everybody thought they could win the championship after that, and outdoors.
But before Jet got hurt, there's 3 other guys that are title threats for sure.
Yeah, he wasn't. I don't think he was going to run away with it, but
you'll get a chance to talk in a minute, Scotty.
No, it's okay. One of the things I thought that you kind of brought up was the fact that all the guys have proved that there's like Anderson, Coop, 5 or 6 guys, including all the Sexton and Tomac and all them, that can pull a whole shot and maintain the race. And I think, even though he hadn't shown it yet, I think that Jet was going to be the only guy that could really work his way up. I know Eli's gone from like 15th to 6th a couple times, but these 8th place, like maybe start 8th and get to 2nd or 1st really quick. I think that Jet was kind of the only guy that had the potential to do that. So now it's going to be, on.
I'm sorry. You think Jet, along with Eli, were the only guys that could kind of come from the back, is what you said?
Yeah, kind of.
I disagree slightly.
Sexton maybe.
I don't. Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Yeah, Sexton
I don't know that Coop could.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't know that Kenny could, but I think Sexton could when he's on. I think he can.
Yeah, because I think that it helps Coop out the most in a weird way.
Jet being out.
Yeah.
Maybe even Kenny a little bit. Like Kenny was the points leader coming in.
Yeah, because they've raced with Tomac and Chase.
They're going to sort of drop off eventually. Maybe not stay as consistent.
Yeah,
I hope I'm wrong, because it does seem like a different Kenny. But
yeah, I was just.
I see what you're saying though, with it kind of benefiting, but it doesn't. Jet having this ACL issue and not finishing the season doesn't like bum me out where I'm like, oh, the season's going to be a bummer now. Like, this is an exciting season still. Yeah. If another one of them goes out or 2 of them go out, then yeah, we're gonna be like, oh crap. But now we got a series on our hand.
What I am bummed about the most is that this, Eli's last year, air quotes, and I thought we were gonna get this showdown between, this Stuart Reed Carmichael like showdown with Sexton, Tomac, and Lawrence, and now we never really got to see that. That's what I'm most bummed about. But as far as the rest of the season goes, I think it's still going to be a fantastic championship battle.
I haven't jumped on the Vital forum yet or been on social much since I've been home. Last couple of days, we're driving home and we're just been busy. But has anybody seen the Jet Lawrence isn't really hurt? He just didn't want to get beat. Has that been out there? I'm just questioning. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it has.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it has.
He's faking?
Yeah.
Dude.
That's ridiculous, but...
Yeah, what's funny is that's how bad it is these days, because I thought that, I'm like, oh, he was scared that he couldn't get, he was 2-2, so he can't win, so he's faking an injury.
That's exactly what I saw, and like,
oh boy,
it's getting to the point where I think you should almost have to like take an IQ test to have social media.
To be allowed to have social? Yeah, sure.
Or like in Grand Theft Auto Online, if you're constantly just like cussing people out or playing like very maliciously, just calling, you get thrown into like your own like lobby, like it's a lobby of all of, like, it's basically like prison.
Yeah.
Okay. For GT, and that they need that with social media.
Social
like
media.
If you're gonna be that guy,
well, people
then
do get banned, but it's never for anything worthwhile.
Just put them all in their own category. They can all just they can bed bug it out.
Put them in the gulag.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, Jet. It's a bummer for sure. Jet's out. Let's talk about Eli for just a minute. And we're not going to dive super deep into all the race details on the show. We don't do that a whole lot because, listen, go listen to the post-race show. Michael Lindsay and Lewis Phillips, they break everything down. There are a couple highlights, though, that I do, or talking points I'd like to get into. I picked Eli to win round one, which he didn't because he washed the front. I picked him to win round 2. Eli is my favorite for this title. Eli is incredible. How aggressive he's been these last few races. Main event number 2 in Glendale. I rewatched it on TV today, and we talked about this off air a minute ago. They didn't show him the whole time, but he started 15th or 16th and finished 4th. But he was passing guys so fast, so aggressively. I texted our group chat the Shun Scotty group chat that Scotty's not in because he doesn't have an iPhone.
No green bubbles.
And I was
Brandon
like, look,
today.
Eli just passed 4 guys in about 100 feet. He went over the quad,
Before the
heading
sand.
into the sand, and passed, I believe it was Malcolm Stewart, Cooper Webb, Hunter Lawrence, and I think he got Dylan Ferrandis too, in like 100 feet. And my mind just exploded almost internally. I was like, he's not passing, no offense, sorry, Logan Carnow, Cade Clayson. He's passing the best guys in the world almost.
And in a straightaway where anybody
In
can just
a
hold it
small-
wide
like,
open.
4 of them at a time.
Yeah.
And I said to Lewis and Mathis, who were sitting next to me, I was like, he might win this thing. That was like halfway. It was maybe 4 or 5 minutes left. Unfortunately, in that same race, if you guys remember, he clipped the quad out when he was going after Coop.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then he caught back, or not Coop, Chase. And then he caught back up, and Chase kind of made that, kind of drifted to the right before, I think it was after the whoops in that next rhythm section. And Eli had to back it out, and then that was it.
I think at that point, that in that second second race, that the track had finally started to really give out, and they could all run that same pace in line. But to try to catch any one of those guys, you were going to, like Tomac did, make a mistake because you were just the traction wasn't there, and you can't shave off those little apexes and those little tents.
The only place you could do that was the quad before the whoops, and Kenny was like the only one that did it, really. I think a couple other guys did it, but they didn't do it consistently. Like, you saw how much faster Kenny's whoop speed was coming off of that thing.
Eli is my pick to win this title right now.
I think
any of the guys that we're talking about, Chase,
him or Chase,
even Kenny can do it. Okay,
Coop's going to be there.
I'm a big Coop fan. We know this, but I would love to see Eli win it because it's probably his last year in Supercross full time. But to see Kenny win this would be maybe one of the greatest stories in our sport
He doesn't have
ever.
one. He's one of the Mount Rushmore of guys that don't have a title.
Yeah.
For
so
sure.
I don't know, man. I am so excited about what we're seeing right now, and there's only 10. There's a 10-point difference between Sexton in first and Webb in fourth. Dude, that again, I keep saying it. We have a hell of a championship on our hands. It is early in the season, obviously, but these vet guys that are still in this thing, I think they're. I just have this feeling. It's probably wishful thinking that they're going to make it all the way through, and all 4 of those guys are going to battle to the death to the final round in Salt Lake City.
I can't. I'm ready to see what Coop does now that we're going east.
Yeah,
because that might change my perspective on who's the championship guy.
Things could change next week for
sure. Absolutely.
He called everybody out on the podium too. That was awesome.
Who's that?
Coop. He was
What
like,
is that?
y'all said I was going to suck or whatever. He said something like he said something like that. Yeah.
I didn't listen to the post.
Yeah,
we can't hear that really in the press box. And when I rewatched it, I just fast forwarded through all
He
that.
probably got asked that in that way 15 times that weekend. I'm sure he was sick of hearing it.
Yeah.
Maybe. He's been in a pretty good mood.
He's
go ahead.
You know, it was the Coop is this always the story is so funny with him because, you know, last year was in off season, he was out of shape.
He was
he was out of, he looked if I didn't have the speed, and then he came in and proved everybody wrong. And then this year in the off-season races, like, holy shit, Coop looks...
he won Bercy.
Yeah, he looks really good, like better at this point last year.
Like up and down years,
and then
right?
he had
it's a good year and a mediocre year and a good year.
And then he couldn't get the seat time he wanted for A1, and then it's like, oh, well, you know, that sucks. He, you know, if he can, he might be able to do a little bit. But then here he is, you know, he got second. If you watch that race and, like, didn't know the results, you'd be like, Coop got second?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
He got second in that race? How did he get second in that race? But he did. Like, he just stays there like he always does.
For as much time as he apparently didn't have on the bike in the offseason, he's doing perfectly fine.
Fully agree.
I think he's just going to continue to build.
Never started off strong, never been good at Glendale, and somehow he's, what is he, like?
He did both of those. I think he's in fourth.
Yeah.
Isn't that what you just said, fourth?
Oh, in points?
Yeah.
I'm about to
Coop is fourth. Yeah, he's 10 down.
10 down?
Yep.
Yeah, dude. This is...
it's one behind Eli. And they're about
he will
7
stay
or 8
right there the whole time.
Yeah.
A couple of things I want to get to before we get to Michael Mosiman. Triple Crowns and that track. Let's start with I love Triple Crowns. Some people kind of don't like them. Riders don't necessarily love them.
I think that's the only people, the riders and the teams.
What those races bring in excitement it's just something different. It's very exciting. None of those races were boring. Not that really any of our races this season have been quote unquote boring, but the track layout, props to Dirtworks. Start went sideways, which normally it goes lengthwise, and like Lewis was talking about, like every year, it's kind of a waste of space.
Yeah, for sure.
I said that last year too, but Lewis was like, "Man, this is really good." They made these long rhythms with multiple options, and huge jumps. But really, I don't even care about the quad and the triple over the start straight. I care about that there was 2-3 different options. The split lane corners worked. It was funny in the press conference. Kenny was talking about that outside before the whoops, and where he was quadding, and he's like, "Oh, the outside was so much faster." And Chase kind of looked over and just giggled. And then I asked him, I said, "You laughed." My next question to him was like, "You laughed at that, and you kept going inside. Did you think it was faster, or why did you laugh?" Because even again, Lewis and I were kind of talking like, why does he keep going inside? It's the corner; it was faster inside, but when you hit the pop over that table, it slowed you down. And he actually was like, "Well, it was faster in one of the races, but then I just kept taking it like an idiot." But it worked, right? Because it really the outside was so much farther, but then it ended up being faster, so it worked. So my point is, props to Dirtworks, incredible track.
Yeah, the inside was faster until you got to the into the whoops, because you had 5-6 miles an hour more entry speed.
I felt like it slowed him down because you would jump the table and it would pop you so high.
Right.
While from the outside you'd quad or even just go on, and then you were staying lower. So, but it did. I wouldn't say it was equal, but it was pretty fucking pretty close, pretty equal.
It was a lot less
overall, the track, the sand was great. Like, it was just a freaking awesome track, Scotty.
Yeah,
maybe the best track of the year for me.
I really liked it, and I know that there's been a lot of complaints that the riders didn't like it, and that it was they were tearing up bike parts and
I don't think the riders didn't like it. They didn't
like it for a triple crown.
The wall jumps, the 2 wall jumps,
and that it was
Kenny
hard.
Was very, very.
It was hard on the body and all that stuff, and I get it, but it's like, dude, like, that's what y'all are there for.
Yeah.
Like, and it made for fantastic racing optically. Like, I watched some of qualifying, which I don't always get to do, and I was like, it was getting my adrenaline going, because it was so intense, like the way they were carving the track and scrubbing and keeping low, and it was fast, and I liked it. I liked the big jumps. Yeah, like they're doing, like they can do them, so do them.
The big jumps are cool. I mean, when Kenny first hit that 3 or the start.
Yeah.
So earlier in the morning during qualifying, Justin Brayton and AC were sitting behind me, Mathis, and Lewis, and they kind of said, "Ooh, I think they could do that." And nobody did it. And then all of a sudden in qualifying, I saw Kenny do it. And I was like, "Oh my God." And Steve looked at me like, what? He's looking around the track. He thought somebody crashed. And I was like, "Kenny did the 3 out. He did the 3 out and then the next lap he did it. And it was so cool." But there's a point I was about. Well, first of all, this is the Race Tech Open discussion. There was a point I was about to make and I lost it. Did you have something to say? Because I lost what I was getting ready to say.
All I was going to say is,
I know what. Go ahead.
It was a little hectic, a little burly for a triple crown to go out there 3 times. I like the track. I understand why they're complaining a little bit. I wouldn't want to race it 3 times either.
So again, the only real complaint I heard, and I could be wrong, and if Lewis is listening, and he did more interviews than I did, maybe he heard some others, but Kenny was very unhappy with the wall jumps. The one going into the finish, you guys heard before qualifying, they had a little roller, and it wasn't much of a roller. It was barely a roller. It was just a little mound.
Just enough to take something off. Yeah.
But he was like, "Look, man, that was hard on my wrist." And I asked him in the press conference, I said, "Okay," or no, I asked him post-race interview. I said, I heard him tell Steve right before me that he hated that because it was hurting us. Okay, so I understand that it was a little faster, but how come you didn't just roll it? Would it have made that much difference? And he's like, it's tense. And yeah, he had to do it. So that was the biggest complaint that I heard. I didn't hear any complaints about the quads or any of that because they all were like, yeah, it's pretty easy.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if they didn't want them to launch it like that, they should have knocked the takeoff down.
I don't think they thought they would keep doing it.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't think they would keep doing it.
Yeah, it was gnarly.
When it comes down to losing time or not,
even with the little roll,
right?
Because it wasn't much.
So let's I have a numbers to make a point on this.
Okay.
I just bought Supercross tickets for Arlington.
Yep.
We're in the third level. They're nicer seats, like they got cushions and stuff, but they're about $100 a piece.
Okay.
And so I'm going to do an average ticket of $100. There was probably about 50,000 people at Glendale, which I think they get a little more than that.
I think it holds 40. I looked, but I don't remember now what the number was.
It holds more than 40,000 people.
Yeah, maybe 67 or something was what it holds. I'm sorry. Yeah.
That's if you do $100 a ticket at 50,000, that's $5 million sitting in those stands. And I say if you ask all $5 million, those dollars were worth it because of the way the track was and how intense it was. I'm sure the crowd would say that it was worth it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's $5 million sitting in the stands watching that. I mean,
yeah.
You can jump 82 feet jumps. I can't. That's why I came and spent $100 to watch you do it.
All right. So there's a couple of things I was hoping to get to before we get to Mo's, which we may not get to all of it. We'll move some things around, but real quick, some news that I want to talk about. Club MX Yamaha. I mentioned we did a press release Friday, I believe, maybe Saturday, but I think it was Friday, that if you're a person that's always like, hey, I wonder what they say in the headsets. Like when you go to NASCAR, you can rent headsets and listen to the teams. Well, Club MX did that at Glendale. They're going to do it at every round going forward, and they're hoping other teams jump on board. So if you're interested in listening to what a team is, what's going on the headsets, the team headsets, you can do this with Club MX. The website was a little, I looked it up earlier. It was kind of too complicated to tell you the actual website name, but you can go to Club MX Racing's Instagram, which is Club MX Pro Racing, and there's a link in the bio. It's $9.99. I'm pretty sure it's $9.99 for one race, but if you want to check it out, that'd be cool. We're gonna this was Lewis's idea. I want to give Lewis Phillips credit for this. We get one of you guys to do that this weekend, and then next week we can kind of talk about. You guys can tell us how it is. What's it's like. But
I was gonna pay for it either way if we weren't gonna talk about it.
Supposed to be 18 or older. I don't know how they decide that, but you're supposed to be 18 or older. So
because Phil is over there dropping F-bombs every 4
Phil's
seconds.
not going to be wearing a headset. He's not there most of
At
the time.
one of those weeks, he's not going to have a
one,
web.
but I don't know if he won't have a headset. He's usually like up in the press box or whatever.
Yeah.
But regardless, if you want to check it out, pretty cool idea. So yeah, check out Club MX's thing, and hopefully other teams will come on board maybe. And then this could be something cool if you're really into hearing what's going on.
Yeah, because I mean, honestly, I don't really pay much attention to the actual broadcast. I would really like to listen to that though.
Well, hopefully next week you can tell us about that. Another thing I want to promote is Christina Denny with the AMA stopped Lewis and I and Raise It for USA. That's the website when we do fundraisers for Motocross of Nations. If you go to raiseit4USA.com, they have a link set up where you can buy merch for. It's sort of like the women's MXDN. It's the FIM Oceania Women's Cup in March, which is going to be in Australia. And we're sending Jamie Astudillo. I don't know this particular woman. Jamie Astudillo, but also Jordan Jarvis, Kylie Stallings, Lachlan Turner, and Michaela Nielsen are going to go over Race for the USA. And those are so I know a few of those women. Yeah, they're fast. So
I saw Kylie and Lala within the past year, and they're ripping.
I feel like we have a pretty good chance of winning this. But if you go, there's a little link where you could buy team merch, hoodies. There's some backpacks and stuff. And every dollar goes to the team to support the team. So that'd be really nice if you go to raiseitforusa.com and support them because, we want our women to go out there and kick some ass. And there you go. You guys cool?
Yep.
You guys going to go spend some money?
Yep. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Sure you will. I believe you. Okay, Vital MX Fantasy. Everybody play?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I did.
You guys, if you listen long enough, you know that Vital MX has a fantasy game. It's very much like your team manager. You get $1 million budget each week. You pick as many riders as you can get within the budget, and you get their points. There is a MotoXpod Show League within the game. This week, I got 115 points and finished in 100th place. How many points did you guys get?
I also got 115, and I was 101 because apparently you logged in before I did.
Oh, does it come down to that?
I think so. Yeah, that's how it is on other ones.
It may be that, or could it? Yeah, or maybe like the word
or how many people you pick versus maybe.
So,
yeah,
but
I don't know.
Regardless, Scotty, how'd you do?
This has been my worst week yet, and I was at 97.
Not bad. I've sucked way worse than this before.
Yeah, it's been a year already.
I tried to do pick less guys. I think only I picked like 6 and just do big names, and I just grabbed the wrong ones. I had Jet, I had Juju, and Cole,
Couple
all,
guys, yep.
all those guys were at one point. Like I was looking at getting
Worse,
yeah,
way worse.
No, way better because Jet was Jet was
I'm
leading.
sorry. Well, I was thinking Juju because he was crashed, but then he came back to the. So I was thinking it was worse.
Yeah, the first race when he pulled whole shot, I was like, oh, here, yeah,
Sure.
And then Jet was going into the third race was 2-2, and so was Davies. I had all of them, and yeah, didn't go well.
This Vital MX Fantasy Recap is brought to you by ProX, which is rooted in racing from motocross to off-road and supporting teams such as Ampro Yamaha, Pro Circuit Kawasaki, and SLR Honda. They've been supplying quality components for almost 50 years, from complex jobs like an engine rebuild to simple maintenance, including filters, chains, and sprockets. ProX aims to bridge the gap between OE quality and affordability. Find ProX at your local dealer or visit pro-x.com and search for parts for your bike. Again, man, you guys are always replacing parts, right? You go on to these different retailers, check out ProX. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. They support the show. They support Vital MX. I believe they're also supporting one of Lewis's pods. I don't remember off the top of my head which one. It might be the post-race show or the hub maybe, but they're supporting a lot of stuff going on with Vital, so we wanted to give back to ProX, and you just really can't beat the quality for the price. And by the way, congrats to King McGrath, who's leading our league. I doubt that's Jeremy McGrath, but yeah.
I like to think it would.
That'd be cool if it was, right? Okay, so what do we got? We got about 4 minutes.
Here, I'm pulling up our total ranks.
Yep.
For the season, I'm 566. You're out of the whole league, not of the. I didn't have the. I guess I can change it.
I can tell you mine right now.
I can change it to MotoXpod show.
Listen, sign up vitalmx.com. It's free. And sign up for the fantasy league. Get into fantasy game. Get into the MotoXpod league. And then you guys can email me or whatever if you want. Talk some shit about who does better.
Chase is I'm
122 overall.
I'm 102, and you are. Give me just a second. You can keep talking.
Okay, so we're going to, again, MotoXPodShow@gmail.com. We're going to get into the 250 East preview a little bit.
136, so we're both beating you.
Sweet. Yeah, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Triumph and FXR's first win in a few minutes. Let's talk about Justin Hill for just a minute. Justin Hill, dude. So I've got the guy, my buddy Jay, that did my tattoo when I was in San Diego. Mm-hmm. He's been pushing Justin Hill and hyping Justin Hill. And I've seen some posts about people from just support of Justin Hill. Look, man, he's riding really well. This is probably the best Justin Hill we've seen in a long, long time. Mm-hmm. Let's see. I think he's gone. I'm looking at his results here. So at Glendale, he went 8-10-7 for 6th.
Solid.
A2, he was 15th. San Diego, 14th. A1, 8th. That was a good ride. He's 11th in points. And I mean, Aaron Plessinger, factory rider's right in 15th. AP's had a bad season.
But 3 DNFs.
Yeah, 2 for sure.
There were some moments though with Justin at Glendale where like he was going after like Eli and other guys. He
tried to pass.
Guy, like this is the best I feel like we've ever seen him. He's in a good place. He said he's putting more effort in. Very, very happy for Justin. Jay and some other people are like, hey, does he deserve a factory ride if a spot opens up? Prado's out. Et cetera, et cetera. You know, Jet's out now. Does he deserve a ride?
Does he want a ride?
Well,
be the question.
I don't know that he wants a ride. That's a good question.
I think what he has going on, he likes.
I think you're right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think teams like that have to have a guy on the bike unless they miss a certain number of races, right? So they're not going to put anybody on that bike if they don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's the chatter out there to put him on a PC bike and drop him back down to 250s.
Oh yeah, I haven't heard that one yet. But
I don't. Is he even eligible? I don't even know. Probably not. He's
he's a champion.
He's a champion.
I don't know.
But
I don't think
then
so.
even like for next year, right? All these rides are going to come open next year, or they're not necessarily open, but riders are going to move around. There might be some rides open. But if there's an open ride in 26, more than likely these teams are going to move up somebody. I hate ending in type or whoever. I just don't think a factory level team is going to say, hey, Justin, why don't you? There's really no cost benefit for him. It's not necessary. You don't really necessarily know what you're going to get out of Justin. I don't think it happens.
Yeah, I mean, he's said himself this year, I'm actually trying. In a fewer words, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like,
I wish I could not try and still make a night show.
Me too. But like, why would a factory team take a chance on that? Not knowing what I mean, I don't like the dude. I'm a big fan, but like, you don't know what you're getting. You see, you know, he's good one year and then he just kind of screws around the next year. But I don't really see a factory ride
I'd just like to take it as kind of face value for what it is. Like, I think that, he was the catalyst to do that big jump. Josh Hill was there pumping him up to do it, and then he did it, and then the rest of the field did it. So
I'm glad
I
he's
thought Kenny
doing well.
did it first. Did Justin do it first?
Justin did it first.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, we got our first guest of the night on. We'll get back to all these topics. First guest of the night is going to be brought to you tonight by Yamaha Motor USA. A reputation for dominance. It doesn't happen overnight. It's built over decades. The YZ story is over 50 years of iconic machines and groundbreaking innovations. Yamaha took the championship-winning bikes and made them even better because the best doesn't rest. Check them out at YamahaMotorsports.com or go to your local dealership and check out everything Yamaha has to offer. Tonight, Yamaha Motor USA brings us from Monster Energy Yamaha Star Racing, Michael Mosiman. What's up, Mose?
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man, it has been way too long. I told you Saturday, I'm so glad that you're back. I've been a big fan. And, dude, I told you, I was worried that you were kind of over it. You were done after some of the injuries and the seasons you've had. And I believe you did kind of contemplate retirement. So take us through
He had a party.
Yeah, take us through these last couple of years and what it's like to be back and one of the top guys in the 250 West class.
Yeah, I mean, that's a long story you're asking for. It's been an absolute roller coaster, ups and downs and changes and uncertainty, what the future looks like, and do I still have what it takes? And so it's been really a wild ride and so many injuries and a lot of learning. I feel like I've grown up a lot and matured in all the best ways in the last few years. And but yeah, I mean, to take you through it, kind of started at the end of the 22 season when I was probably had the best speed and had a really good year. And outdoors, I had crashed with like a round or two to go, and I crashed the first lap of the race and finished the race, but something didn't quite feel right. I was hurting pretty good. And I was at Ironman and coming down some of the bigger jumps or heavy impacts. I just felt like, I don't know, weak in the neck and some pain. And so I pulled off and I was like, oh yeah, it's like I'm just sore, like I'm all right. But I wanted to go to Asterisk to get looked at just so that I could race with a clear mind for the next moto. I went to Asterisk and they put me in a neck brace and said, we've seen people like you that are, seem okay. They're just sore. And then they turn their neck and, don't feel their legs for a bit. So they sent me in an ambulance, my first time in an ambulance. and sure enough, I broke 2 bones in my neck. And that was, that was like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Like, that's crazy. I didn't know that you could break your neck and still be okay. And they also said they found there was like what looked like evidence of an old break in the neck. So it's like, what?
Yeah.
That's insane. So then, then I got ready for the next year. I got married and we moved to California to be closer to the team. And that off season, we switched to the new bike at Gas, and we were just struggling to get comfortable. I was struggling with, just some of the team dynamics and kind of how that was all handled. Just how everything was being handled. And so, I came in. I felt like massively underprepared for the next season, but the expectations certainly hadn't changed. And, I was okay, but I certainly wasn't what I was the year before. And we were still struggling a lot with the bike and trying to get it to handle a little bit better for me. And we were making small improvements. And then I had a crash at Daytona and hit my head, and then got a concussion. It wasn't healing in a very timely manner. It was just kind of lingering. And I had quite a few at that point. And I was introduced to a guy in South Florida that was a neuroscientist, exercise scientist. And I got on the phone with him for 5 minutes, and I was like, I'm willing to try anything. We booked flights the next 5 minutes and canceled our plans, and we flew to go see him in South Florida. Then we started working together after that to get my brain in place, but then also Max Lee told me that they were not planning on re-upping my contract for the following year.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, hey, things aren't working out. Can we make a switch? And, if you guys weren't going to have me anyways, can I work with this guy? And, so I made a change and started working with him, on off track stuff and neurologically trying to get my head right. So, not only, do I not, I'm good from the brain injuries, but also that we can further prevent stuff in the future, mental errors from happening, things that have plagued my career a lot.
Yeah.
I'd say that's a very quick review through the first 5 chapters of probably a 20 chapter book.
Yeah, I was going to bring this up towards the end of the show, but you mentioned getting married, and this is shortly out. You had the neck injury, you have the concussion. I feel like you had a shoulder issue too. What I'm curious about, you're newly married, and I don't think your wife grew up in moto. So was there a discussion of why do you do this? How was she handling all this?
My wife is an absolute champ. She's kind of a savage.
Okay.
She trusts God and she believes in me, and she's just fearless. I mean, I was like, Amber, you can't possibly be just cool. You're not you don't have any worries, any concerns, and are you aware of the potential risks here?
Yeah.
She trusts me, and she trusts my judgment, and she trusts God, and that she'll be taken care of no matter what. And just a wild kind of faith in me. I mean, I got my neck brace off 2 days before our wedding, and it was still tentative, a little bit early, so don't do anything crazy at the wedding. So it's pretty wild. She's something special.
I like hearing that.
Yeah, Michael, that's your story is crazy, and I've always respected you for the way you've carried yourself through all of it. And you mentioned a 20 chapter book of this saga, of this injury, and am I retired? Am I not? When you do get back to where you're leading laps in Glendale this weekend, all that stuff is non-existent and it washes away. What is that feeling like, getting those laps led after all of that?
It felt good. It felt really good. I think I got out front and I was like, oh yeah, no, I could do this. and put in a couple good laps. And, I think that, I definitely think that, I still have the speed. I still have what it takes. And I've been taking a slow build mentality, and, I'm really proud every single week we've gotten better, and it doesn't help when you start on the ground, but we're making improvements and things. And I think that, just the mentality, even to, in those races this weekend, when I did get past, to not just panic and, try to go for something that might have not have been there, and just trying to ride a little bit more smart and, not take any unnecessary risks. But also I think that this weekend, to let myself, get after it a bit. I think I've been riding a little bit reserved and kind of working on that balance. But I had some aggression in me, and I think that's important too. So
Yeah, you went after Diggs, and again, man, it's so exciting seeing you back in there. I totally agree with what you're saying, that you have your speed. People probably forget back in 22, you battling with Hunter and you were a guy we were waiting to see win, and you got to win in 22, and like a title threat in my opinion. So I love seeing that it's back.
Hey, has anybody else passed Deegan this year?
Huh.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I don't know if
without a mistake.
Julian has, but yeah, I don't know.
Without a mistake, I don't think so.
Yeah, no, because two of them races he just had bad starts.
Okay, so you maybe not, Mose.
I was hyped on that. It didn't last terribly long, but
it's okay.
I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
unless you count Juju in the first lap of San Diego.
Right. Yeah.
Did he?
I think he passed him. I think
I don't know.
He almost passed him. That's what
Mosiman
it was.
Maybe the first guy to actually catch him and go by him.
Yeah,
I think you're right, Mose.
Passing somebody
even
after the
if we're
start.
wrong, let's give it to him.
Yeah,
for sure.
You got it, dude.
Yep, it's you, man.
Hey, so Mosiman, I know being at the farm, you're kind of on the stopwatch every day. Do you feel like that helps you, or or do you wish you weren't like that? Because I know with me, I feel like being on the stopwatch would help me a lot, or I'd kind of just jerk off all the time. That's
a good question. I relate to you. I think if it was gone, I would miss it. But when it's there, sometimes you're not always loving it. It depends what the stopwatch says, right?
Right.
But yeah, I find that it definitely helps to have a plan and have accountability. And I think also, like, I know for me, the stopwatch is going to be there regardless. And so, like, one of the things I've worked on is, like, if the stopwatch says, if the stopwatch says I'm ripping, then don't get overexcited and push even more. That's kind of how I got some of my injuries this last year, where it's like I was feeling good, and then the stopwatch was saying I was in a really good spot, and then I just started feeling invincible and get overexcited and get myself in trouble. So it's good for me to have it there because it puts me in like a good situation where I got to deal with what it says.
Mm-hmm.
And if it says you're going slow, I have to not overreact to that as well. So
I guess that'd keep you from overreacting, on the race day and qualifying if you're not where you need to be in the first one or whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Michael, so with the mentality you had coming into the season, kind of a rebuild season, are you happy with your results? I mean, obviously, like you had the fall, I think, in the first main at Glendale, and I know you went. I think you went down at Anaheim 1, possibly. I don't remember. You've had a couple falls, but overall, with your results and your riding, I feel like you have to be happy.
Am I happy with the results? No. The scorecard is pretty ugly, but I enjoyed. I crashed twice. I crashed first lap with Davies at Anaheim 1. He landed into the side of me, and then the last lap I got brake checked by a guy who was coming through the pack, and I ended up 15th. But I actually had a good time. Like, I enjoyed myself, and didn't beat myself up because it was 15th at the end of the night. So. Yeah. So it's like a mixed bag, like, am I happy with the end score? No. Am I happy with the progress? Absolutely. And, I think I said this weekend, I don't know if it was aired, but like, I'm building towards something and definitely taking a long view. And so, being 4 rounds in, and now I feel like I got a decent amount, a lot of lessons learned already and a lot figured out, and definitely just getting the cobwebs off. I mean, I think everyone on the team just knew it was going to take a second. So it's been good for sure.
Yes, Michael Mosiman, brought to you by Yamaha Motor USA. Yeah, if you look at your results this season, 15, 9, 7, 5th. Those are overall. So the trajectory, you don't have too many more places to go, man. I mean, there's only a few more spots to go up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I can, make those steps and go those spots. I think the front guys right now, I mean, they're really good, but I don't think they're, untouchable.
Yep.
And I think that, that pace is not a lot more. So it's a lot of execution and confidence, and all of that's coming together.
Okay.
Yeah, I was with the other guys, and there's been a lot of kind of drama, and these guys, all the guys have beef with each other and stuff, and it's been very entertaining from a fan's perspective. But you being a guy that's been around for a couple of years, seen it, what is it like seeing the Deegan show and all of that while like being under the same tent as him?
It's cool. I mean, it hasn't been as crazy as I was expecting.
Really?
I will say the autograph line is pretty wild. Like, I sometimes will ask people, like, hey, how long did you have to wait? And I think I heard like 2 hours one time, and that's pretty gnarly. And it definitely, like, you never get through the line kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's been good. It's been fun. I think the banter and back and forth and the drama is good for the sport.
Yeah.
So I'm cool with it.
You mentioned execution and confidence a minute ago. What is the thing that you need to work on? What are you lacking right now? And how much is this break that you have before you go racing again going to help?
Yeah, I'm lacking a little bit in the sand. I think the sand is a weak point for me. I run my bike pretty stiff, and I'm not sure that's the best for when it gets rough. So that's definitely an area I want to work on. And then starts, like, out of the 4 rounds, I had 1 round with good starts, and so I think I've made a lot of progress on those and I'm in a better spot, and I like put some things together and then put it to work at the race and had 3 good starts. So yeah, I think that the sand and starts is like the 2 big ones. Otherwise, I'm looking forward to getting like just a training block in. Mm-hmm. With flying back and forth to California and Florida, it's been pretty brutal, and so you've had to dial back the training and really just maintain. But
right,
we're going to be definitely putting in some hours and try to make a little gain there so that we can stay ahead of it.
All right, I just got a couple more for you. We got a Vital MX forum question from Phillyfish619. He wants to know, just overall, do you still enjoy riding your dirt bike?
Oh, honestly, probably more than ever. I've gotten a lot more enjoyment out of it. I think taking time away. I mean, there was a time, before I got the Star Ride, I was borrowing my friend's 450, and like suspension is not set up for me. And we were going and riding in like a field that had some, little turn tracks. So I think that, coming from there and getting to this place, and then also just, I don't know, being more mature, being able to be thankful for what I have and the career I have, and also, having a little bit better identity, not so much in what the stopwatch says, but knowing that, on the track or off the track, I'm going to be okay. It's definitely helped me to enjoy it more and, hopefully put some years on my career.
All right, so, Michael, we're heading into 250 East this weekend. You've got a couple of your teammates, Anstey, Bennett, lining up this weekend. Who do you think is going to be best in the East as far as star riders?
I think Anstey is going to be really, really strong. Pierce has been ripping. I think those 2 are probably. Who else we got? I mean, we got so many guys.
Oh yeah,
and it's been going pretty good. But yeah, I think Anstey's definitely like in a good spot. I think he's got a lot of experience, a lot of years, and a lot of knowledge. Certainly, always trying to improve the bike and little things like that. And so I think he's going to be strong. And Pierce, has always been fast. So.
Yeah, Pierce is sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was saying Pierce is a rider that I think is underrated often. When you look at his overall results, it doesn't reflect necessarily how good he can be. And I don't expect you to respond to this. I did hear he had a little bit of an off-season crash, so I don't know if he's coming in 100%, but he's certainly.
Oh, really?
I expect this to be his best season.
Interesting. I haven't heard anything about off-season crash. So
Okay. Well, I could be
and
wrong.
I've been at the track. I don't know. It might have happened in the last couple of days, but yeah. I mean, I think last year he was what did he get like fourth, like
Yeah, I think so.
every race or something like that for a while. So
Yeah.
I think that he, winning the last SMX round, I think he's got a lot of confidence from that. And I mean, he was riding really good, pretty early on. So I think if he can combine last year's consistency with this year's speed and confidence, then who's gonna beat him? So from that.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see those guys kick it off. But then I can't wait till we get back to the West Coast and see your group take off in it again, man. It's been an exciting season. 450s, 250s. The racing this year, there's zero complaints for me.
Yeah, it's been incredible to be a part of it. And I tell you what, it's some big freaking quad.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, how have you liked the tracks this season? They started off more technical at Anaheim and San Diego than the season normally starts off, and Glendale was one of my favorite tracks I've ever seen you guys race on, but as a racer, kind of gnarly.
Yeah, I actually I had a pretty bad crash in press day, so I was hurting. So I actually didn't do like any of the bigger rhythms at Glendale. I just was vanilla all day, did the basic stuff as best I could. But yeah, I mean that some of the jumps were massive, and I honestly I thought we were going to have to do the quad out of the rhythm section after the finish. I thought 250s would do that one too, but happy they didn't for my sake. Yeah, that wasn't the most forgiving of sections, but man, Mo, it's just great to talk to you. So glad you're back, and really happy to see you doing well, and thank you for coming on here tonight. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Okay, buddy, take care, and we'll see you soon.
Sounds good.
All right, see ya. That's Michael Mosiman tonight, brought to you by Yamaha Motor USA. So glad to have him back, man.
Yep.
So glad to have him back. Okay, let's jump into some of our segments. We'll get to everything. X-Brand Forum check-in. We also have Keefer coming up, and we have Seth Hammaker coming up. But X-Brand Forum check-in. X-Brand is your choice for clear vision and a leader in motocross and off-road goggles. X-Brand is used by many of the top GNCC riders, including the 2023 XC1 champion Craig DeLong, riders like Dalton Shirey, Grant Baylor, Lyndon Snodgrass, as well as Kyle Chisholm, Freddie Norrin, Henry Miller, Michael Hicks, and many more. Excuse me, all trust X-Brand, EKSbrand.com, or go to your local dealership and ask for X-Brand, distributed through WPS. I wear them. I mean, I'm a winner, right?
You are in my heart.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's what I was looking for.
Sure, buddy.
Thank you. You guys are my favorites. Not that TJ guy.
Yeah.
Loser.
Well, it'd be nice to have those
sick.
feelings reciprocated to feel that way from you, but we'll start.
Oh, I'm sorry.
One step at a time.
Is that how it's supposed to work?
Yeah, Doug's like, you can scratch my back, but
Hey, man,
I'm not scratching yours.
I'll tell you what, when I was at ML's doing the show and I was having to do all your stuff and my stuff, I was like, this sucks. I need Scotty back.
Right. You didn't think that.
No, I did. I didn't want to do it, and you do a good job of it. I don't say that enough.
Dude, don't take it. You're not getting it again.
Yeah, I'll take what I can get.
All right. The forum check-in that I picked this week was just titled Kenny ... Posted by MotoMike137. And here's this.
Ominous. I like it.
Here's what he says. Do it, ? I scoffed at Kenny's post about him winning the series, but I'll be damned if I don't see a little glimmer in his eye right now. Imagine. Then we got a follow-up to some from Maeve Tism. He says, yesterday was the first time in a long time where he seemed pissed about the third moto and that he didn't win the overall. Last year he had the speed to match the top guys but couldn't get starts and always had something weird happening to him in the first corner or lap. So there's a lot more comments. But yeah, thoughts on Kenny. Can Kenny win the title? I don't know if you guys, because you probably aren't my friends that good of friends, if you saw the interview I did with him. Did like a 10-minute interview with him that's on Vital MX. Got a ton of views. I bet neither one of you.
When did it go out?
After San Diego.
Of course I watched it.
It was
I didn't watch
a fantastic interview. This is how I ended it. Last question. Can you win a championship? Answer, yes. Boom. Cut it off. That was it.
Took 10 minutes to get to that.
there's a lot of good stuff in there. But
I think he can.
he believes he can win.
Yeah.
I believe he can win.
If he believes he can, he can.
Yeah.
Like,
dude, he is
it's
good.
He's finally
Yeah.
got a factory transmission, so yeah,
I
anything's.
mean,
Yeah, I wonder how much that is actually.
he's pulling. He's
affecting-
getting good
like,
starts.
The starts are good. Like that start on.
I was thinking about that. Someone was talking about how nobody's really been consistent starts. You'll get, especially in the Triple Crown, really exposed it, where one guy would get a whole shot, and the next race he'd get like 15th.
Yeah.
I would say that low key Kenny has been the most consistent starter. He's been top 5 almost every
he pushed
time.
it in there on
that was
Jet,
cool.
which was a little
Launched a
bit of an
tightrope,
accident,
yeah.
but
I don't
it
think
was
he
aggressive.
I don't think it necessarily even has to be better. Just that he has something new. I think he kind of
he does like stuff
when
like
he gets
that.
something new and he likes it.
Yeah.
It's just good, and the confidence just carries on.
He likes new stuff until he does it, and
Yeah,
then it's
and
bad.
then-
And he needs something else new, like
Yeah.
suspension changes. Oh, this is the best suspension ever.
Yeah.
This suspension sucks. Now I need something else. But his mindset when I did the interview, like we brought up the past, right, and like how people bring up his injuries, and he should have won more titles. He goes, yeah, and the fact that he had those years where nobody could figure out what was wrong with him health wise. He's like, dude, that was like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
People still talk about it. Why do they keep talking about it? Like he was kind of aggravated in this interview. It was just a different Kenny than I'd heard, and man, I'm in.
I feel like
I'm a believer.
I feel like those health issues like slowly got better, so
Yeah.
you didn't see a major change like from season to season. So
Yep.
you kind of feel like it's still there, but it's really not. Like, I mean, we'll have to see, going
Yeah.
down into the stretch in the season, but I don't think it's there.
I mean, you can see, the argument is that he fades at the end of the season, but last year, I mean, until his shock faded, he was actually riding.
Yeah,
the
shock
be-
exploded.
Great point.
That was actually the better part of his season.
Yeah.
So now he's having a good start. If he can have that kind of finish, and Suzuki can hold together, then I think it's very possible. Will I say, yes, he has just as much a percentage to win it as maybe Coop, and obviously Sexton and Tomac have the highest percentage to win it. I don't know if I'd quite put him on the percentage of Coop, but I think he'd be the next guy that I'd put. And
I kind of feel like I'd put him over.
even
Coop
if he
almost right now.
doesn't, even if he doesn't win, I think that he will be a contender until way late in the season.
Yeah.
If he keeps riding like he has
I
been.
might put him over Coop right now, but like I said, let's see what Coop does when we go east.
Sure.
Yeah.
So his results so far are 3-2, 4-2. Within that last second at Glendale, he went 4-1-5 in the Triple Crown. Second points. His whoop speed
Yeah.
might be the best in the class right now. Maybe.
I mean, it's kind of you might be a little biased just because he was coming off that quad and had so much more entry speed.
Maybe.
But
But I feel like
he
he's
has
been
been
that
good in
fast
the
at
whoops.
every round
Yeah,
in
he
the
has
whoops.
been good in the whoops.
It is.
How insane would it be if Kenny finally gets his championship at a little bit later age on a Suzuki? Like, how insane would
It'd
that
be one of the better stories to ever come out of
There's
this
a very
sport.
good chance this year. We have a very good chance this year of having the oldest Supercross champion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I'm just so impressed. I'm so happy for him. I stuck around and got a post-race interview with him. I think Mathis and I were the only guys to get one. But while I'm doing the interview with Kenny, I let Steve go first. He was there first. Steve pokes his head out of the hip truck, and he's like, Dart, when you're done, come in here. I'm in the middle of interview. So I go in and Dustin pipes.
Steve.
Dustin pipes, and Dustin's like, hey, man, if you come over here to interview, you got to drink some of the moonshine.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah.
So I had to down a little bit of the moonshine, which was disgusting. But yeah, I got
Mathis just
but it
didn't
was
want to
also
be the
kind of
only
like
one.
it was nice to the little initiation or whatever
Yeah.
you want to call
Was it not good moonshine?
I don't like alcohol. I never like
Yeah.
to taste alcohol. It just doesn't taste good.
Yeah,
so,
sometimes
no.
a good moonshine's a good
Yeah,
moonshine.
but if you don't like alcohol, period,
Yeah.
it's
I guess.
like the worst
But
thing you could
If you're
drink.
if you're a woman, period.
I mean, I don't like drinking either.
How did
Maybe
I know
twice
that
a year.
something like that was coming. I don't know why you got to be so mean all the time.
Yeah, I don't know where that comes from at
so
all.
hateful.
really-
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Where does that ever come from?
you're just
Anyways.
another one of those people in society that's
Yeah.
always, talking down to people and talking,
Bed bug.
hurting
Yeah, I'm a
people.
bed bug.
You're hurt. It's hurtful, man. It's
Yeah.
hurtful.
All right. Sorry.
Where? Never mind.
To your side.
All right, Evan's Coolant emails. We're going to get to Seth Hammaker here in about 15 minutes. Evan's Coolant emails. Evan's waterless coolant protects your engines because it always stays liquid. Steam inside the engine creates hot spots and detonation, but with Evans, the metal is always liquid cooled. Used by HRC Honda, Factory Beta USA, and Pro Factory Yamaha, and many other teams. regardless of the sponsorship, Evans is in the bikes on the podium. A couple of these I kind of want to wait till TJ is not sick. All right, Tim West sent this in. Which I wasn't going to do all these. Let me see. How do they justify? Okay, glad to have racing back. This is from a couple weeks ago. Quick topic. How do they justify not having more than 9 whoops in a set, but then leave the triple into the quad that was at San Diego? This was an older email. But then we can also roll into this weekend with the big jumps. How do they justify that? The quad seemed huge on TV. This is, again, back at San Diego. And RC even stated on Title 24 that Webb said it was semi-scary to hit. So, yeah, that's interesting, right? Like, we're worried about injuries and the whoops, and they say they have some kind of data that's kind of like, oh, well, riders get hurt more with more whoops. But certainly, if somebody screws up on one of those big jumps, it's going to be really bad.
Yeah,
I don't know how they, quote-unquote, justify that.
The whole track discussion thing is not necessarily like irritating or frustrating. It's just been a little annoying because at the end of last season, we were like, these tracks are suck. They're jumping everything for in the second lap of the site lap or the first free practice. They're jumping everything. We need to make it more technical. Well, this is a joke. And then this year we've had that. And then everybody's like, tracks are too tough. What,
Who's saying they're too tough?
Or isn't like, they're saying that we have these things, but Phil
is just asking, like, why are they saying 9 whoops, 10 whoops are too dangerous?
I guess what I'm getting at is I'm just going to take what we're getting out of the tracks right now. I'm not going to argue in 10 whoops because we're getting this other stuff. So
I think we should have more than 9 whoops.
I think we should too.
Yeah.
These are the best riders in the world.
The only thing I could say is everybody has to go through the whoops every lap. You don't have to hit a quad every lap. You can pull out. You don't have to do it. Everybody has to get through the whoops. Like, that's the only point I can see them making. Like, they have the stat where if it's over 9, people start wrecking, whatever. You don't have to hit a quad.
Okay.
It might be the fastest line. Technically you might have to win, but you don't have to hit it every lap. So that's on you.
Hang on, I'm texting Seth. Bear with me. Okay. Let's see here. The next one is... I gotta find the next email. Will Cole Davies? This is from Phil Smeltzer. Will Cole Davies make Deegan go to the 450 if Deegs doesn't get the 250 championship, or will Deegs switch teams? No. So I think the idea is like, okay, if I still don't win the title, would he just move up? What say you?
If he doesn't win the title,
if Davies has a better result, his teammate, a rookie, has a better result, would Hayden just move to the 450s? Discuss while I text Seth.
Why would you move to the 450s if you're already, you have a rookie that's hypothetically beating you. Why would you go to a 450 class where you're going to
I think the point is, like, is he going to be like, I'm going to go with butt hurt or like.
Yeah, maybe he is.
Move out. Like, I'd say no.
I think he sticks around until he gets a 250 championship.
You think he does?
Yeah.
I think he's going to get one sooner than later.
Like, if he doesn't get one in the next 2 seasons, I don't think he's going to, I'll just keep chasing it. No, he's going to move up.
Yeah.
It's coming whether he wins the title or not.
Will he have the offers if he doesn't win it?
Yeah.
Supercross?
He will. I think, didn't Star sign him for like 5 years or something?
Yeah, I think he's going to probably still be on a Yamaha. Like Eli will be.
I don't think he's going anywhere.
Yeah, Eli will probably move up a little sooner.
They'd be stupid to let him go.
Yeah. All right, so Phil, I'm going to say no, man. I don't think that's a factor at all. Okay, this is what I wish TJ was in for, so I may skip that one. Let's do these two. So this was a topic. We get these goofy questions sometimes, right? I don't have the name on this guy. He said,
asked him,
how do you feel about a man wearing a robe and slippers like at nighttime? And I say, no man will wear a robe and slippers.
I will, like on vacation.
Then you're not a man. That's my point.
That's fine. Whatever.
That's so crazy because I just had the...
It's kind of like Crocs.
I had the thought today of like, man, it'd be like, sometimes I get up in the morning, I go out and smoke a cigarette on the front porch. And it's like, a robe would be kind of nice. It's coffee and a robe.
Like, I feel like Scotty has just given up.
What?
You do not
I'm not wearing,
care, and I care too much. I feel about myself.
I'm not wearing one like every day like that, but if I'm on vacation in a nice room.
That's so funny. You think
like I'm going to put on that free robe. I might take it home. I might not wear it.
Wipe your nuts on it.
Yeah, exactly. Make myself at home.
Yeah. Dude, you're just like you are
scared that people
it's not about how I
vague.
feel about myself, I guess.
No, it's just like who
Closet
am I trying to impress? I don't care. I'm comfortable. I'm enjoying
Slippers?
life. Yeah, they feel good on my feet.
I'm wearing a robe.
I don't know if I had like to choose, like if I had life or death, had to choose between slippers or Crocs. I don't know which one I would take because I hate that. Just
I don't have
some
slippers. I
fuzzy
just wear my
slippers and a
Crocs.
robe is pretty nice every once in a while.
Yeah, it'd be comfy, dude. You don't have
Can't
to.
do it, man.
You don't have to become like
MotoXpodshow@gmail.com.
I have to do this because I'm a man. Like, it's like, screw that.
By the way, when we do our FXR picks later on, we'll give you guys a heads up. We got a pretty cool contest, pretty cool giveaway.
Okay,
It's a date with me.
Okay. All right.
He likes
I got
his hair- he
another
likes
one
his hair
similar with the robes and slippers one. If you're out somewhere and you have to talk to or take a picture with somebody in a wheelchair, do you squat down to their level, or do you just
that's a
stand
good
up normal?
question.
Like, what's appropriate? What do you think?
And would it change if you were doing it with a little person or if you were doing it with a wheelchair?
Yeah, you don't.
Okay,
you don't
that
squat
could be
for
the
a
same
little.
thing. If it's a little
I
person,
think that's two
I
different
think if
things.
it's a little person, you pick.
well, let's
them
go
up.
wheelchair first. Let's go wheelchair first.
I think
Let's say we do a MotoXpod event and one of our listeners is in a wheelchair and they want to have a conversation and a photo.
the way my knees are set up, I'm just gonna stand. But
Oh, okay. What's the scenario? Like you're
just told you.
you're at Fan Fest and the guy wheels up
Yep.
and says, "Dark Side, I'm a huge fan. I want to take a picture."
Yeah.
If I was in your position, I would probably say, "Do you want me to stand up?" Or I would ask.
yeah,
Just, we are so scared to communicate in this society.
I feel like if it's
Ask.
just
Okay.
like you and the person in the wheelchair, probably squat. But if it's like a group, like
Stand,
just stand.
Yeah, I think I would not necessarily like take a full knee, but just kind of squat down a little.
Like,
Like,
you-
like half and half.
Like, okay, this is a good example. If you went up, like if a fan came up and wanted to take a picture with Mitch
I'm laughing because I'm
and-
thinking of something in my head.
and kneeled down, like,
yeah. Okay. I kneel down. I squat a little bit when I talk to Mitch most of the time.
See, that's kind of fucked up. I think.
I think so too. Afterwards, I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, I don't think
So
you
that's
should do
why
that.
it's a good question because I
mean,
don't know.
You kind of do like when somebody's like English is their second language, like with a Hispanic person.
When
You
you start
kind of
talking in
start.
that
You
accent?
kind of start
Okay.
doing it so
Uh,
they'll understand. But like it works.
At my-
I don't know if
It's
it really
not right.
does.
It does.
I've noticed that this is a little different, but it's kind of the same thing. Since I'm working at a restaurant now, and we have a drive-through thing.
Thanks for the blizzards you brought us, by the way. Oh,
Yeah,
you
I didn't work today, but
Neither did TJ.
but when sometimes I've noticed like if the person's like real country or like I match like a little bit of their tone and their dialect.
Oh yeah, I think
Yeah.
a lot of people
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
But I
It's just being nice almost to kind of like.
But not if you're doing it.
They're trying
like,
to make somebody
if you-
feel comfortable,
If you go
not
to an
being
Asian
nice.
restaurant, you're like, oh yes, I have the fried
no,
rice.
come on
Like,
now.
that's why it's not okay.
You can't do that.
You
It's
don't
not
do
okay.
that. No.
Okay, now the little person, I just pick him up and hold him.
That's what I just said. Yeah.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I didn't hear it. That's why maybe I subconsciously heard it. Didn't realize
Oh, is
it.
that what you were laughing at in your head a
I was
second ago?
laughing at myself picking up a little person.
Yeah. Dude,
Yeah, I
they're
didn't-
dense. They're stout. They're dense. They might be small, but they're all there. Don't ask me how I know.
So the other question I had is like that I got. I kind of want to wait till TJ is here. Somebody asked us like, what's a habit that our wives or girlfriends would leave us for that we have that maybe they or that they might leave for. But we'll save that till TJ's in. We got our next guest of the night on, and he's going to be brought to you tonight by Guts Racing. Andy Gregg and the Guts Racing crew continue to provide the best seats and foam available. If you want the same seats used by Rockstar, Husqvarna, Hep Suzuki, and many more, then you need Guts Racing. They have numerous color possibilities, staple or Velcro installation options, wing seats, and the best foam in the business with the Phantom Ultralight Seat Foam. And don't forget, they have complete seats for the Talaria and Super 73 and covers for the Sur-Ron Segway, and they strive to ship orders within 36 hours. And we now have a discount code, and that code is VITALMX to save 20% off at Guts Racing. Tonight, Guts Racing brings us from the Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki team, Seth Hammaker. What's up, Seth?
Not too much. How are you guys?
We're doing good, man. We're doing good. We just got off the phone with Michael Mosiman, who's been riding really, really well in the 250 West. And this weekend, we kick off 250 East, where we're hoping to see you do the same thing, man. Go out and put some laps in. How are you feeling? Are you 100%? You ready?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely feeling really good. Been putting in some good laps, good training. It's been a solid off season for me. Probably, coming off the shoulder injury from last summer, but besides that, I feel like I'm, the most prepared coming into a Supercross season that I ever have been. So, looking forward to seeing what we can do out there.
Yeah, you you didn't race. You got hurt last year. No Supercross, as I recall, in 23. So it's really been a bit since you've had a Supercross gate drop and been, like you just said, fully prepared. What are your goals and expectations going into 25? Is it, well, just tell us what they are. Like, you know, some guys are trying to just get through the season. What are your goals and expectations for 25?
Yeah. For 25, I mean, definitely to get through a full healthy season is going to be key for me. I don't want to put like an expectation results wise. I feel like just because I feel like that just creates a must situation. So I feel like just, you know, going out there doing the best, you know, whatever the result is at Tampa, you know, whether that's a win or if it's a fifth or whatever, like still that week, we're still going to have work to do, you know? So it's just kind of, you know, being there every weekend, taking what the weekend gives me and just progressing each and every weekend, you know, throughout the season and, you know, mainly to build because, you know, throughout my career so far, it's been, speed's been there, but, you know, injuries have, you know, been there for me a lot. So I kind of never have that time to build up and that, you know, it's hard coming off the couch all the time. So.
Absolutely it is.
Yeah, Seth, I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but PC kind of needs a good result. Like maybe just a little bit. Does that in any way give you kind of like extra motivation to be like I can save the team kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I always want to, you know, do the best I can for myself and the team, and it's been, you know, obviously a rough go, and you know, there's no hiding that. It just, you know, it's unfortunate. You want to see your teammates do good and the team just succeed. So, but yeah, it's definitely, you know, I want to go out there and do the best I can, put in good results, you know, and it does motivate me, but I feel like I'm a pretty motivated person, just in general. So like, just excited, you know, to get out there and get racing with, you know, the team again. It, you know, it's like I said, with the injuries, it's been a lot of on and off, but
yeah,
want to put in a solid season for them. So.
Chase?
Oh yeah. So being an East Coast kid, how much more comfortable are you in the East Coast stadiums, or has being out in Cali, PC kind of made you more comfortable out there?
Yeah, I mean, being from Pennsylvania, I definitely prefer the East Coast, and it's just kind of where I like to spend more of my time at. I was in California for a while, for 4 years since I went pro, and then this all season I made the move to Florida. So that's been a big change for me, and I'm absolutely loving it. I feel like it's, you know, had major improvements this all season that I've seen in my riding, and just being on the East Coast, I feel like everything's a little slowed down here, have more of a life outside of motocross, have more time, not sitting in traffic and all of that stuff. So I feel like I've been enjoying everything more. And like I said, being from Pennsylvania, it feels like, you know, I'm more back home. So, and even closer to my family too. Like I can go home, you know, for a long weekend or something, 2-hour plane ride, same time zone and everything like that. California is a little bit tougher that way. So I feel I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
The dirt's so much better there. Nobody wants to go to Glen Helen and ride that Supercross track. That place is terrible, man. The dirt out there, I hate it out there, Seth. Oh, well, I shouldn't say I hate it. I don't enjoy riding out there near what I do. We're in East Texas or on the East Coast. It's just not, it's nowhere near as fun, period.
He's got the 33rds to prove it. Sorry, I couldn't help it.
He doesn't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, I think he can figure it out.
Okay.
You got 33rd in a race at Glen Helen.
Yeah, I did that nationals, Seth, and it was bad. Like Mathis worked me, bro. Worked me.
Well, you've been training though, right? A little bit.
Yeah, I've kind of fallen off through December, but we're getting back in the gym tomorrow. Back on the program, trying to get ready for Loretta's. I rode with Keefer a bunch. We rode 3 out of 4 days, and we did 2:30s each day. So I did basically 3 hours of riding in 4 days. That wasn't bad.
Nice.
Yeah, we're getting there, but we're here to talk about you.
Watch out, Seth. He's coming.
Yeah. You're next. Pro Supercross 2026. Yes,
I would pay for you to try to qualify to one.
Why?
Because it'd be funny.
It'd
be mean,
stupid. Anyway,
I mean, yeah.
All right, Seth. So hey, did you re-sign in 24? I feel like you did.
I did. Yeah, I re-signed. Yeah.
So what? How confidence inspiring is that Mitch trusted you? Because we just said you really haven't had the results, but he trusted you. He had faith in you. It's got to give you some confidence, man, and make you feel good.
Yeah, so much confidence. Like, Mitch has been, behind me through it all, and super grateful, as well as Cowie. They've been supporting me through the injuries, through the good times, through the bad, and I feel like we know what we can do together if I stay healthy. So I just need to work on myself all the time, try and improve and be the best I can be on the bike. But yeah, definitely super confidence inspiring to be on the team for another year and to have more opportunities to go out there and achieve my goals. And I won't want to do it with any other team. So it's good.
All right, so Scotty over here sort of touched on it about PC really needing a good result, and we hear the pro circuit curse, right? We got Tyler Masterpool, Marchbanks, somebody I'm not gonna name with it, Drew Adams, and maybe one other guy has had a rough off season on that team, or a rough race season. Certainly, there's okay. I'm gonna shift gears here. Riders can be a little bit. What's the word I'm looking for? Superstitious. That's the word. So do you even think about that at all? Like, oh, the PC curse, or is it, no, it's just day to day. It's a new day. Let's go race.
I just try and do day to day, focus on myself, be the best I can be every day. Stuff happens. And with a lot of the past couple of years with people getting hurt on PC, and there's whatever the rhyme or reason is, like you can't have that in the back of your head. Stuff's going to happen regardless, and it seems to happen. It's been happening a lot for a lot of the riders on the team, and it sucks to see. But I just block that out, do my thing, and thinking about that's not gonna help anything. So
good point.
Just put my best foot forward every day, and just show up. And you always even through my injuries and stuff, you look back and you can at least run through the situation and see what you can learn from what happened, if there was anything, and just to prevent those situations from happening again. Just always got to be learning, that's for sure. So,
and I want to ask you real quick about your off season. You touched on it a little bit, but how has the off season gone compared to other off seasons? What have you focused on the most? Bike or technique or what?
Yeah. Technique's been a lot of this off season for me. When I first got to Florida, that's all we really focused on. Speed was never the concern, and it was like, no matter how slow you have to go, do not, short your technique. It's everything kind of the bases around that, and then your riding will improve and the speed will come, but you have to have the right technique to go fast the right way, to be safe, to prevent those injuries as well. I feel like in the past speed, I've always had good lap times. I've always been in the mix, but the inconsistency with the results, I need to improve on that. And I feel like this technique that I've learned, I already feel like I'm a better, more technically sound rider. And if anything comes up on the track condition wise or obstacles or whatever, I know what to do. I have more tools in my belt to get over it, without having to be like, I don't know what to do here. I feel like I have everything, to conquer it. So, that's been the main thing, and the speeds came along with that. And I feel good about it, man. Like it's been a long off season, all season to, work through the habits that I've built over the last, so long through my career, and to break those wasn't easy, but now I'm getting it more natural. So.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's kind of perfect timing for you, Seth, to have that technique kind of take a jump up the next level. We've seen the tracks be a little more technical than they have been. Does that kind of give you, like, coming into this weekend, or it's like, all right, let's bring it. Like, I am ready. I have fine-tuned these things. Show me what you got, kind of thing. Yeah, absolutely. It's being on the East Coast too with the dirt, how it breaks down more. It kind of gets like the races, how, come main event time, the tracks have been super gnarly. So I feel that I am more prepared for that. And,
sometimes when I get to other tracks after riding these, I feel like, man, it's a lot easier. There's not as many ruts, or the whoops aren't as chewed up. And from being in California for the past couple of years, and the tracks get hard in Blue Groove, and there's not as many conditions like the races get.
Yeah.
Once you get to the East Coast, so this will be a big advantage, and to be more adaptable.
Yeah, I'm a little curious to how they kind of keep, Tampa's known for the dirt that breaks down a lot, and it doesn't seem like it gives them the ability to build as big of obstacles. I'm curious to how they're going to be able to do this track with that kind of dirt.
Oh yeah, my question was kind of about that. Like, there's that sand rhythm section. We don't see that very often. Tampa's kind of known for breaking down. Like, do you like that or at all, or do you wish they wouldn't do that?
Sand sections I'm not a huge fan of in Supercross.
Yeah.
Every now and again I think it's okay. But the Tampa one is definitely, in the years past, I was just watching some races the other night of Tampa, and man, it's gnarly. That beach sand that they bring in, that white beach sand. So it'll be challenging, and it gives it a good mix up, especially for the 450 guys who race all 17 races. They want to mix it up for everybody too. So it'll be good. But I think as far as Tampa dirt, otherwise, I think it gets pretty hard packed.
Oh, it does.
It'll be interesting to see how it shapes up. Yeah.
Seth Hammaker tonight, brought to you by Guts Racing. Don't forget, we have a promo code for Vital MX. It's Vital MX 20, or actually it saves you 20%. Vital MX. So go use that. Let Annie, Greg, and the crew know that you're supporting the show. All right, let's talk about you being a little bit of a bully, Seth. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm joking a little bit, obviously. Last year at Philly, you take out Jalik, man. I mean, he just jumped in front of you, bro. Why'd you take him out like that?
I know.
And then in Birmingham, same thing. You take out Deegan. Like, what's up with? Why are you being a bully, Seth?
I don't know, man. We're trying to stay away from everybody this year, huh?
I was going back through some of the races. I was like, I forgot about that, and I forgot about that. You had a couple moments that are sort of controversial, but really, when I look at them, like, I don't feel like either one of them was your fault. But you definitely got to try to figure out how to avoid those confrontations with some of the. It's unfortunately it's part of racing, but I just thought it was kind of funny when I was going back.
Yeah, no, yeah. Last year was a lot of there's a lot of stuff going on. I felt like every weekend, if I got out of it with nothing major, no drama or anything, I was like, man, that's crazy, because a lot of the weekends it was, but. Yeah, I mean, like you said, part of racing, and stuff isn't always going to go the way you see it out or plan it, but you got to be able to adapt. And like I said, you always got to learn from it, and try not to make the same mistake twice. And this season, just try and put myself in those positions to where you don't get caught up in the situations. Like I look back at the Philly one, and then as much as that was a bummer to end that race that way, it's like I should have never been in that position. Like the sand section where it happened, I should have adapted to that inside line, then triple into the inside line. I stuck to the double to the outside, and I get more mad at myself for doing that than the takeout or anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's where my head goes, and I'm like, this situation should have never even came to that. So it's just stuff that you pick up on and learn from. So.
Yeah, lessons for sure.
Yeah, like going off of that with this season, with the lineup that's going to be in the East, it's none of those guys are scared to put it in on anybody. So it'll be very interesting. And you had mentioned that you'd worked a lot on technique and stuff. Was racecraft a part of that, or is this having the better technique and more confident kind of flow into having a better racecraft?
I feel like it'll kind of lead into that with racecraft. To go when you go racing is when you learn that the best. So I'm hoping, with the new technique stuff and stuff that I've been working on will help that, and that's a big part of racing. That's why you see the 450 guys with the experience, and they know, what to do and how to adapt to a situation. So once we go racing, I think that'll help that, and just to learn.
Yeah, this East Coast it's like the dad class almost. Like it's a lot of seasoned veteran guys that have had a lot of good racing under their years, and I'm excited.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah, East Coast is gonna be sweet.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm looking forward to it. Let's close this out. I think this is your 5th year pro, Seth. You're almost one of the vets of the class.
Yep.
What's the biggest thing that you've improved on since your rookie season?
Biggest thing I've improved on since my rookie season is just taking it one weekend at a time, not getting too far ahead, being where your feet are, and just taking it one step at a time. I feel like it's easy to get ahead of yourself and to think about the future, but just to be present.
I love it. Well, Seth, we're looking forward to it. Just a few days away from the opening round 250 East. It's going to be exciting. Thank you so much for giving us some of your time tonight, man.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
All right, Seth, take care, buddy.
Yep.
All right. Seth Hammaker tonight, brought to you by Guts Racing. Always a good time. We are going to get Keefer on right now, so bear with me. We're going to talk about some fun stuff with Kris. We'll talk about FXR's first win and Triumph's first win. See what he has to say. Give us just a moment here.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right, next guest of the night is brought to you by FXR, which is designed by racers for racers. With industry-leading fit, finish, performance, progression is the name of the game with every new piece created. At FXR, I push our brand to the next level to provide you with the best products possible. Used by Muck Off FXR Club MX Yamaha team, Mike Brown, Brock Tickle, and this gentleman on the phone, Kris Keefer. Visit FXRRacing.com or go to your local dealership to see the complete line of 2025 FXR gear. Tonight, FXR brings us our friend, Kris Keefer. What's up, Kris?
Darkin. How are you doing?
Darkin. What's up, Keefer? How you doing?
I like how you put Mike Brown in there and then my name last. That's jacked up.
He was reading Loretta's results.
I mean, Brownie's won a title.
I guess I'm kind of screwed there. Yeah, that's fact.
Brownie's a champion, Kris.
He is a champion. Hey, I'm a champion once, but singular, not plural.
Yeah, Loretta's champion.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I can move you to the front. I can move you to the front of that list.
No, I don't deserve it. He's a national motocross hero.
I mean, he lets you stay at his house for 2 weeks, and you can't bump him up on the
Just
list.
let me stay there for a month.
Oh, there's a lot involved in that 2 weeks. Trust me, it's just not a freebie. Trust me on that.
It's nothing. Listen, we're here to talk about a couple things. Triumph Racing's first Supercross win and FXR's first Supercross win. Dude, you're involved. Well, you're involved with both those companies. How does this feel, man? What do you think about, like, with the involvement you've had with Triumph and them getting that first win finally?
Yeah, honestly, it's pretty cool to see how long I've been with FXR and to start with those guys. I mean, I was racing in Canada in 2012 with FXR, and Andy White, he was my team manager back in the early 2000s at KTM Canada, and I've known Milt for 20 years. So to see where the gear has evolved to, and then get it on a manufacturer brand, and then have them win, it's a pretty cool feeling. I know all those guys are excited, but those guys do all the work. They keep evolving the gear, so it's cool. And then as far as the Triumph thing, Scuba, the whole team, Dudley, all those guys, man, they work their asses off. I'm there at the facility sometimes doing my production stuff, and every day, even on the weekends, those guys are great, and they've been doing that for a long time, even before this whole racing thing started. So to see it come to fruition over there in Phoenix, man, it's a cool feeling for them. Those guys deserve everything they get, and to have the brand come in and basically throw their balls on the table and go into our sport is huge, and you see Ducati doing it now, but it's not an easy thing. And I guess it's cool to be a part of that, but I'm just a little sliver of all the guys doing it. My stuff comes out way, way early, and then the race team guys, they evolve the product, and so it's all on those guys. Those guys work tirelessly all the time. So really happy for everybody, and hopefully it's not the last one this year. Yeah,
well, the production bike has to be decent before the race team can make it great or whatever, right? So I mean, I do feel like the work you've done has helped that brand be successful pretty quickly. Everybody that's test roaded, all the journalists, everything I've read, everybody really likes the Triumph motorcycle. So it's a good platform.
Yeah, and you need a good, like you said, you need a good production bike to start as a base, right? And then those guys evolve it for the pros because they're putting heavier loads on it, they're demanding more of the engine. So, but yeah, you've got to start with something good because otherwise it's just more of a headache for the team to make it that much better. So, for me, when I'm out there doing that stuff, I'm in Europe testing, or I'm in, England doing the stuff, I'm not necessarily thinking about racing, per se. I'm trying to think more about the consumer, but also, it kind of goes hand in hand. We have that production rule here, and they're riding the 250 class right now. So everything has to be production based. And, when this whole thing started, Ricky and Ivan, they started riding really early. I came in a little bit later, and, I was actually pretty shocked on how good it was. And I've been a part of KTM, Honda, Yamaha, all their production stuff. And what was different about Triumph is their eyes were a little bit more open. They had more leeway to change things and do things. And what really intrigued me about it is, when I came to the table and said, hey, we really need to work on a certain part, they really do listen, and they really want to make changes. And even though all the Japanese brands that I've been with before, I was kind of more in a box because, obviously the bikes are more established. They've been around a long time. So I had more freedom, and the team, or, the guys over there at Triumph, they actually do listen. They change parts. I never came back to another test and had the same issue or, complaints. They've always evolved it. And I don't know. You're only as good as the team you work around. And man, all of these guys, we go to bed sometimes when we're doing these tests at midnight, and these guys are up before I am. They're working on bikes. I show up at the track. So there's just so many dudes behind the scenes that make this bike really good. And I feel like it's one of the better bikes in production form that we have out right now. So now you see it from race team, and you hear it from the racers too. Like, you hear Jordan, I listened to a little bit last night on the Pulp Show. He's like, man, everyone thinks that I was a death sentence after Star, but he's like,
right.
I believe in this bike.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting, Keefer, because I was kind of thinking about that after, Jordan got this first Triumph win, and it's only 13 Supercross races that they've done before they got this win. That's not a lot. And I was thinking, we always had this pre-connotation that, the development of these manufacturers over the last 50 years, you can't top that, and it's hard to enter the sport. And it seems like you just said, a lot of the riders are saying this Triumph's one of the best bikes they've ever had. It's almost like it's a fresh look on an outside of the box kind of thing. Does it feel that way? And what are some of the things that you see that they're doing with the motor or whatever that it kind of notates that?
Well, I think for me, it starts with an open mind, right? You have a blank canvas, and that could be detriment to a company, or it could actually help the company. So for me, from what I've seen, and I've been there almost 3 years now, and they're just willing to learn about what's really good out there and try to make their stuff at least that good. And they're not people; they're very open-minded. So for me, that's the key thing to make a good production bike. And to say that the Japanese aren't open-minded, they are, but I think they have a little bit more of red tape to deal with than actually Triumph does, at least from what I've seen in just my perspective. And so at the beginning, you can talk to everybody that, started, and, Ricky and Ivan started before I did, but I'm sure they started on other brands. I'm sure everyone got together and said, hey, what do I like about this? I like, something about a Yamaha. I like something about a KTM. And how can we blend some of that together and make our bike better than those two brands? So I think for a first year or second year motorcycle, they're in the hunt. And to say that is very difficult to do. I've been a part of some things that have been down the line for first or second year, and it's not great. It's not fun to ride. I don't want to ride it. And when I got on this thing and it started evolving, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's really good, because we all have other bikes to try. Even when I was at Yamaha, if you go to the Southern California tracks, these manufacturers ride other brands. They know what's going on. They hear the shootouts, from other media, and they're aware of it. But I think that the ball that's moving is a little bit quicker over in the Triumph court versus the Japanese side.
That's good to hear. And you, while I was there, before I left your house, you got the 450 in finally. You spent a few days on that at home. How's that coming along, and how happy are you with it?
Man, I'm really happy, honestly. Like, I'm a big Yamaha YZ450F guy. I think when it's time to go racing and do the things that I want to do, I always pick Yamaha, but I have headaches with that bike as well. For me, I'm creeping up in years, and I can't hang on to a 450, for 30, 20 minutes. I need something a little bit smoother. And the KTM is really good at that, but this Triumph has some similarities where it's really linear and easy to ride, so I can kind of be more aggressive and I can last longer at, but yet I have a lot of comfort versus like a KTM chassis is a little bit more rigid for me. So when I got the bike here, I was hopeful because sometimes I'll leave a test and then the bike goes into production, and sometimes the production bike doesn't feel like the last pre-production bike that I've ridden.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes some things change, or just the process of making the frame. Sometimes that changes things. So been riding out here in Southern California on tracks that I've, know, and I can compare to other bikes because I'm real familiar. And yeah, I just went to Glen Helen today, first time ever on the bike. And I was like, holy shit, it hasn't changed from the last time I rode it. So that was really good news.
Yeah, I know you were really excited about it. Your buddy Fireman Dave rode it out in the desert. He liked it, so I'm excited. Hopefully I'll get a chance to ride one soon. Let me ask you this, though. Going back to the win, can Triumph go back-to-back with 250 East kicking off this weekend with Austin Faulkner? Do you think they can do it?
Man, it's going to be that's a big ask for Austin coming off an injury, and then him, not being in race shape. So I don't know if it's more. I think it's more in Austin than it is the Triumph brand. I think he can do it for sure. And if he does do it, it won't surprise me. But if he also gets 5th place, it won't surprise me either. East Coast is stacked.
Yes,
like there's a shit ton of dudes, so it's going to be tough. I think Max Anstey is going to be a sleeper. I think people don't know how good that dude really is, and he's going to be hard to beat.
I agree. I will give a little sneak peek. We do our FXR picks for the next race right before we go off the air on our show, and Faulkner is my pick to win.
Wow!
I just believe in the kid, man. I think he's always good if he doesn't crash. So yeah, he's going to be my pick to win. But
that's not good because you always end up making the wrong pick. So
shut up, Scotty. Go ahead.
Has he ever got the right pick? Has he ever got the right one?
Not on a hot take like that. Or not
that I remember.
It's not that hot of a take.
No,
Come on,
not
man.
that. But okay, a couple years ago,
I picked Eli to win A1, and he probably should have, and then I picked him to win San Diego. So
the big one I always go back to is Ferrandis was going to win that
the title after he went outdoors. Yeah, man, that was my super. It didn't work.
I just want him to finish the season at this point. Honestly.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah,
I'm with you. I just want him to finish the season as well, man. He needs a solid base of a year. I'm actually super bummed on Jolie because
me too.
I was there preseason, early doing some testing in Georgia, and I saw the kid ride, and I'm like, holy shit, man, pump the brakes a little bit because you're shredding. You don't want to, pop your cherry too soon. And I think he would have been, I think he could have got a win, for Triumph if he was staying on East Coast. I think he could have did it. But, Austin's more than capable of winning. I just hopefully he doesn't just pump the brakes a little bit. Take a 5th, take a 6th, work your way into it a little bit, All
right.
Yeah.
Hey, Keefer, y'all just dropped the news on Aiden's knee. I was just curious what the time frame is on him coming back and kind of what's the plan going forward.
Yeah, the kid's been going through it lately. I haven't felt this bad as a parent. I'll just explain this to you. I think Darkside knows, but Aiden was hurt. He got a shoulder. We missed Loretta's because of that. And that was okay, it happens. And then you go through all this shit, surgery, and then he's about a month in to riding. We go racing. He rode exceptional. He won his motos, won 6 motos. And then we go riding at a turn track, and he didn't even do anything. He just put his foot out, and he kind of slid out, washed out his front end, and popped his ACL. And I thought he was joking because I was like, what are you doing? My buddies are standing around him, and we haven't even did a full parade lap to get our moto started. And then we come home, and you see your kid crying, and it's not because of the pain. It's just because he knows what he's about, he has to go do. So for me, I had to hold it together a little bit, and I did do that. And then one day, man, I was on the spin bike in the gym, and he was in his bedroom, icing his knee. And dude, I just started crying because I just know what it's like. I know how much riding meant to me when I was that age. And I know the window of time that you have for him to get a ride and, actually do the damn thing, not just, have mom and daddy pay for everything. So, that one hurt me and him a lot, but he's on the mend. We went to Dr. Bowman in Tennessee. He did Christian Craig's knee. He did Chance Hymas and RJ's. And I talked to Christian a little bit about this after Aiden did it. And I really want to thank Cameron McAdoo because he actually called and checked up on Aiden. And man, I tell you what, if there's a guy with a big heart out in, in the professional world that we watch, Cameron has the biggest heart, man. He's a normal human being. He checks up on Aiden. He asked me about him. He recommended some doctors. So there's just a lot of quality human beings within our professional sport that maybe some people don't really see, but I get to talk to these guys, and they really do care about just the human side of things. So we ended up going to Nashville. Dr. Bowman works at the Vanderbilt University, and he has a special way of doing some ACLs. He's a little bit more aggressive in the rehab process. So Aiden went and did that same week he had his ACL done. Flew him and Heather out there, and then he's been with Navarro out here for the past 2 weeks, and Dr. Navarro says he's a couple of weeks ahead of schedule. So the plan is right now is to get him through the area qualifier out here, which isn't a big deal because we don't have enough people, but he should be back in time before regional, which is in the end of May. So that's what we're aiming for.
Good deal, man. I really respect y'all for all the stuff y'all put out on that side of like injuries and stuff like that, because you never really hear that from anybody. So it's nice kind of to see that and see what people go through. And
it's a slippery slope, right? Because Steve gives me a bunch of shit. You always hard on people that don't talk and say they're injured, and I didn't want to, have people think that Aiden was a crasher, because he has a team green contract, and there's people helping him, and he hasn't done shit, honestly, and I don't want him being known like, oh, that's Chris's kid. He's getting shit because of Kris, and to be 100% honest, that's probably how he got a lot of shit so far. He hasn't done anything. So this year was on his own. He has to stand on his own 2 feet. He had to sign his own contracts. He had to negotiate all that, and he has to go win because, like we all know, there's a window. If you want to do it, he wants to be a professional supercross, motocross guy, you gotta win races, and that's why I think he was a little bit under the gun and pretty hurt on this one, just because there's a clock ticking. And we'll support him no matter what, but if he wants to be a professional racer, then he knows what he has to do. So
for sure. Guys, anything else for Kris before we let him go?
No, I'm good.
I think I'm good.
Chris,
the dark side talk about his experience out here at all?
Well, I was gonna. No, I did have a funny question for Kris. How many male genitalias have you seen in the flesh in the last 2 months?
You're asking me?
No, him, Kris.
Oh, me?
Yeah. Or did you get to see Darks? How's it going?
That's a creepy question. What
No,
a weirdo.
Here's the thing. Everyone freaks out on everyone freaks out on this, and like I tell Darkside, look, I know that it bothers them, so I'm gonna really screw with them, right? So like I'll hit it hard. So I go, Dark, you get in the jacuzzi naked. Oh, Dark, what are you doing? Just walk out naked. What are you doing? And I'll just keep driving it. He knows what I'm doing, right? So a funny story. So we're in the jacuzzi. I mean, Dark was clothed. I was clothed as well. But he didn't have a towel. So he's walking out. It's dark, and he's walking towards my house, and I always see is like the silhouette of Darkside going towards my
dark in the dark.
Porch, right? And then he's like, "Hey, can I walk in the house wet?" And I really don't care, right? But I go, "No, man, that's fit if you do that." So then I go, "Hey, just get naked and just walk in. Don't worry, there's towels in there." So then, and he kind of like, he hesitated for a bit, but he did. So I saw the silhouette of Dark's ass going into the house. So that's what I got.
One more thing, man. He said he rode that Honda 250 y'all had, and that was probably the best he'd ever felt on the bike. I was
in California.
Yeah, well, yeah. I was just trying to get verification on that. If he's just talking shit.
No, look, he loves that thing, but I'm gonna tell you guys this, and you know me, like, I'm straight up with Dark. I'll give him shit, but I'll also give him props when he does something good. I've never seen the dude ride as good as he did those 3 days. I mean, we put in some time out here on some tracks, and dude, it took me like almost 15 minutes to lap him on like a 2.5 minute track. So for me to say that, like, he is shredding, like he was riding really good. And then me and Abe were watching him ride, and he was sending it in the corners. Like, he had this newfound confidence that I've never seen. So he loved that bike. I think a 250F is the way to go for him, honestly. And we give him shit, and he does he was quit side for a little bit out here. He did quit on me one time.
Mhm.
But I will say he doesn't really want to go do the things, but I say, hey, get your ass up. Let's go. He will go do it. He didn't bitch. So I had that's probably one of the better times I've had with Dark Side this trip. This was a good trip for me.
Yeah, I have noticed riding with him that when he was on the 350, he's definitely way more like racy and willing to kind of dice it with you more than he rides a lot more timid on the 450.
I mean, he rips back here at home, and like
Yeah.
I've ridden out there too. I know how different it is. So
I took.
Did he?
Oh, go ahead.
Did he tell you? Did he tell you he took us out?
Oh, no,
I don't
he
think
didn't.
so.
Oh, go ahead, Dark. I'll let you tell me. You fucking took us both out.
Oh yeah. So Kris was lapping me. He was inside in a right-hander. I was outside. He drifted into my line. Said, "No, sir, I'm not backing out."
So he just fell?
Yeah, you
Well,
remember you mentioned
Yeah,
something
his
about it.
engine case. He says he had half a bike. I say he had a wheel. But yeah, we collided and I fell over on him and we both went down.
Get out of the way, Dark.
Yeah.
Usually, guys, when you go inside and you see like a wheel or a fork, you're like, okay, he's got the line. Dude, Dark did not lift. He stuck his foot out. Then as he's falling, he took me out with him. So then Aiden's across the valley in the Jeep watching us, right? He sees us go up this hill. He loses us, and then here's no dirt bikes. And he's like, oh, shit. You hear Aiden drive the Jeep. You guys okay? I go, no, Darkside just took us the fuck out.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Should have stayed on the inside. Stay out of my line.
Yeah, I had to jump a double like off the track one time because he was pushing me wide like that.
Yeah.
Well, hey, didn't you and Turd get...
Oh yeah,
Yeah, Turd, same thing. Didn't get out of Turd's way.
But that was
Turd screwing around and trying to mess with Darkside.
Cut like backwards almost on the track to try to take my
that-
line
like that,
away, and then it was muddy and he couldn't stop.
Yeah, I saw Turd this weekend. He was ripping.
What was that video of that little kid on the KTM electric? Well, I don't know if it was the junior race or his arena cross, but he like literally like turns up the berm and takes the kid
I
out.
just tagged
I don't
JT in that yesterday.
But it was a good time, Kris, and I do publicly want to say thank you for you and Heather and Aiden's hospitality and your family, man. I appreciate you treating me the same, like part of your family.
Look, we give you shit. Steve and I give you shit, but, we love you and we do anything for you. And just to let you guys know, Dark knows I'm a big, thank you guy. Like, I don't need no public thank you, but he left us a card with a thank you. So for us, that's all we need. That's great.
Was it heart-shaped?
The card?
Yeah.
No,
No.
heart
Okay.
Shaped.
He did say love. He said love, and he put duh. It was like 4 A's, 4 R's.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah.
Did I really?
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't remember putting dark. That's funny. Well,
But he's not very good at shutting lights off at the house. He sucks at shutting
Really?
lights
Because
off.
he blows a gasket when I leave the bathroom door open here or something like that.
That's not completely accurate.
I mean, he disregard for the lights.
He's
So I
not
guess
paying the
my
bill. He don't
electrical-
care.
Yeah, my electrical bill can go fuck itself, I guess. Is what I'm talking.
Yeah, from the guy that turns the hot tub on 4 hours before we get in it.
Gotta get at the right temp.
Nothing but the best for you, Dark. I'm here for you, whatever you need.
Well, that's why I always come to the Keefer household. Airbnb, Keefer Inc.
Keefer B&B.
Keefer testing.
Heather's serving you up right on the couch. Didn't have to move a finger.
It's the best. It's the best.
Yep.
Does Heather cook with like a lot? Because Dark's picky. Does she cook with like a lot of vegetables and stuff? Was he like picking stuff away, or was he playing saving face?
No, because Heather would ask him, "What do you want?" Right, and then one night we were getting Chipotle, and then Dark's like, "Oh no, I don't. It's just forget it." And Heather's like, "Well, why? I'll go into Chipotle." And Dark's like, "No, dude, it's my order's just a pain in the ass. Forget it."
Yeah, I bet it is.
I'm the same
And
way.
then Heather's like, "No, I'll go get it." And so she's like, "Well, what is it?" And he's like, "Well, I just want plain rice." And I go, "That's all? That's a pain in the ass?" She's like, "Yeah, it wasn't no big deal. You just ask for plain rice and they pull it out."
Well,
right?
they don't usually have the rice with no lime out. They have to go to the back and get it. And I didn't want her to have to deal with that because she does. She's like, she'll ask specifically she'll cook 3 meals if that's what it takes almost to
Just
make everybody
eat
happy.
the rice, bro.
Here's the thing, guys. He didn't want to do that because he knows once he says what his order is and I hear it, he's fucked. Now he's going to get shit for it.
Yep.
Like a 2-year-old getting special rice.
Kind of like
made.
not bringing straws back to the press box.
Oh, for
this
Lewis
weekend.
bring that
Yeah, they mentioned it on the review.
Yeah, I didn't hear all that. But anyway, Heather's the best, no doubt. And I love you guys.
Well, we love you guys. Have a good show. Thanks for the call. And well, maybe we'll see you sometime a couple months. You coming out here for outdoors or what?
I don't know. I doubt they're going to send me to any outdoor races, if I'm being honest. I don't know right now. I haven't heard. You know
you
it's
got
a loose
races
program.
coming up?
What's that?
You got races? You're racing, right? Area qualifier coming?
Yeah.
Is that not this weekend?
No, it's next month, I think. Hang on. I think it's on my calendar right here. Let's see here.
Next weekend's ours, so we're going to Mesquite. Just, I'll break the news on this show since this will be piss off Steve, so this will be great. Steve's raced in the Southwest area with me.
Let's
hell
go.
Yeah. Sweet.
So
okay. Well, yeah, my area is not this weekend coming up, but the weekend after. Yeah.
Okay. Where's it at?
DeSoto.
Okay.
Southwest Shreveport.
Just so you know, Keefer, he just pulled out like a 3-foot calendar to look at that.
I got my desktop calendar sitting here, man. It's not even. Why is that funny?
It is.
Anyway, yeah, I'll be racing in a couple weeks. So this weekend, just kind of sitting at home watching Tampa, and then next weekend I'll be racing.
I gotta go out to Texas and ride some tracks, man. It looks good out there.
Come on out,
So
man.
dude.
There's like
Turd's
six
been
or
invited us to Shorty's place.
yeah, down at the River Oaks or whatever. There's like 6 or 8 places.
I told you we have
an hour and
3
a half.
private tracks within 10 minutes of my house.
Yeah.
I know, that sounds fun. We got a place in Georgia now, so we're going to be heading there in the spring. But man, Texas looks good.
Well, come on out anytime, man. We'll figure it out. We'll get you. We'll go do some riding.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, Chris. Thanks, buddy. See ya.
All right. Cheers. Bye.
Kris Keefer tonight, brought to you by FXR. That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like Keefer.
Keefer's awesome.
He's all right. All right, let's get into T-Bolt USA Top 5. If you are a pit bike enthusiast and love shredding around on a CRF 110, KLX 110, or whatever you have, you need TBoltUSA.com bookmarked on your web browser. T-Bolt USA is a pit bike supply site that has everything you need for your pit bike, from BBR handlebars to D&M shocks and even full bikes, from YCF and Pitster Pro bikes. T-Bolt USA has it all. They even have stuff for the Chinese bikes, and they're very difficult to find parts for. You'll find pit bikes, engines, and parts at TBoltUSA.com. Actually, before we get into this T-Bolt USA Top 5, one of our longtime listeners, YouTube followers, Tay Bill Jam, you guys mentioned his dad passed away?
Yeah, his dad passed away this past weekend, man.
So thoughts going out to Tay Bill Jam and the family.
That was your sock. That's sock gate.
Yep. So yeah, thoughts on that.
And that brought up a really good point. And we told them they were thinking about him in prayers and everything. And it's he was thankful for the show to get back into one of his normal routines, because it was able to kind of break up all of the stuff that he's going through. So it's like there's a bigger thing that we're doing here, and it's really cool. And like it sucks that happened, but it made me feel like a level of importance that we can be that kind of breakaway from people. So it's why it's all here, right?
Awesome to hear. Tay Bill Jam, man. Sorry about that. It's never easy, but we're glad that if we can be a little part of making you feel a little better, I'm thankful for that too, and appreciate all your years of listening and hanging in there and dealing with Scotty and his dumb shit.
Hey, I would have sent him socks. He's actually sending me Tim Tams, so we're good.
Tim Tams are the best. All right, top 5. T-Bolt USA top 5 this week is top 5 cartoons. This was Chase's pick.
Yeah.
And I asked you before we went on air, are we doing are movies included, or what do you think?
That's fun, yeah.
Okay.
Well, aren't most cartoon movies based off of a show?
Yeah,
usually?
kind of.
Maybe.
For the most part.
mean, well, when you see some of mine on my list.
I guess he has you must have one specific thing.
Okay.
Nothing.
But Scotty, I'm gonna let you go first.
I'm actually prepared this time.
Good to hear.
I have, and I'm actually gonna. I usually don't do them in order, but I'm gonna do these in order.
Okay.
5 is Metalocalypse.
That's cool.
Yeah. 4, I'm gonna cheat a little bit and lump all these together. I'm gonna put like Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry, and like old Scooby Doo's, kind of like all those. I'm gonna kind of lump those together.
If you say so, bro.
Yeah, because to me, those are kind of all the same nostalgic vibe that I like. Those 4. 3 is SpongeBob. I thought SpongeBob was great. 2 is South Park, and 1 is King of the Hill.
All right.
Yeah,
I know me and Chase are probably gonna have the same one, but
yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Chase?
Yeah, number 5, Scooby Doo. 4, The Simpsons. They've So they've been on a generational run.
Yeah.
They do. I've just never really watched them, so that's why I left them out.
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch them. I don't like go out of my way to watch them or anything, but the Tom and Jerry, South Park, kind of the same reason with The Simpsons and King of the Hill's #1. If you're from Texas, it's pretty damn accurate.
Yeah.
And I've watched that series probably 5 times.
Yeah, me too.
All right, I'm going to give you my list.
I knew Chase and I were going to have a very, very close list.
I'm going to give you my top 5, but I'm going to ask you guys politely to not count.
All right.
Well, hey, I lumped 3 into 1, so.
G.I. Joe, the original from the 80s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep,
South Park,
Beavis
Beavis and Butthead,
Beavis and Butthead's a good one. King of the Hill.
Flintstones.
Yeah. Flintstones, yeah.
Thundercats,
Okay.
He-Man, Star Wars Clone Wars, Rick and Morty,
Okay. All right.
Simpsons,
Top 20, okay.
Rugrats, Jetsons,
Yeah, I almost threw the Jetsons.
Looney
in there, too.
Tunes.
Yeah.
All right, now pick 5 of those.
Yeah, I did.
Multiple choice. You can. It's
I left some out. So
Oh, okay.
that was one of the better ones, actually, because I was like, I forgot how much I love cartoons.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, like, because you have movies, you could have went like,
Space Jam.
animated movie, like, okay, Space Jam.
Yeah,
or
but
I was
that's
even
a- but-
thinking it
but
wasn't
that's-
all cartoons, but
That's not necessarily a cartoon.
Who
that's
Framed
a-
Roger Rabbit?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
those are crossovers.
Okay. What do you mean?
Like they're I don't know if there's a
It's
name
just
for
an
them.
animated movie.
There's a name for them, but they're with real actors.
Oh,
with
okay, sure.
cartoons.
I didn't know if that counted though.
Roger
so,
Rabbit was the first one. That's why it's so famous.
So, and I could have named plenty more. I didn't put Transformers in there or
Dude,
Mask.
I forgot about Thundercats.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Voltron.
Yeah.
Somebody just said no Voltron? Question mark in the chat.
Yeah, I don't know about new Voltron. I just meant
No,
Voltron.
they
they
were
said
saying like
no
no
Voltron
Voltron.
question.
Like
Oh
you didn't put
yeah,
it
I
in.
mean for sure. It's
I
just,
honestly
it's
don't
so
even remember that
difficult.
one.
Very very difficult. And there's others. Yeah, there's so many that I would love watching.
At one point in my tenure, I probably would have put Family Guy on there, but I'm
Yeah,
kind of now that I'm older, I'm just not really doesn't
It's
really
the
do it
same
for me.
shit
Yeah.
over and over. I guess they all kind of
Yeah.
are, but whatever.
Trying to find this read.
But I do love I used to love Acme Hour when I was a kid. It was because it wasn't like Looney Tunes were still coming out, so they would do like Cartoon Network would have like an hour a night where they would do like random Looney Tune cartoons. And those I loved those.
Cat Dog.
I almost put that one in there
Cat
too.
Dog,
Cat
Cat
Dog
Dog.
is awesome. Yeah.
Lower in the
Courage
world, little
the-
Cat Dog.
Cat Dog.
Courage the Cowardly Dog was a good one too.
Courage, yeah. There's
Like,
too
I
many,
thought-
man.
Yeah, there's too many. That's a good one. So MotoXpod@gmail.com.
Dexter's Laboratory.
Give us your top 5
shit.
cartoons. Next week, was this Scotty's or was it TJ that said condiments?
No, I said that.
Top 5 condiments.
Slash sauces like
Sure.
like A1.
Ranch is my top 3.
You can do ranch, A1, ketchup, mustard. Yeah.
Pretty
Relish.
exciting stuff we're doing here on the MotoXpod show.
Hey, that's
Yeah, it's fun,
top
man. It's
condiments
fun.
is
Don't forget that we got a contest coming up here at the end of the show, so stick with us. Okay, ETS Racing Fuels. We're going to have them kind of cover our Arena Cross recap. ETS Racing Fuels was forged from the heat of competition nearly 30 years ago, developing purpose-engineered fuel for high-profile teams and highly competitive series. We have been the power behind many podium wins ever since. Teams using ETS Racing Fuels have won more than 50 national and world champion titles, and we continue to forge new alliances and partnerships across motorsports. ETSRacingFuels.com to find a local distributor. If you're looking for the best racing fuel on the planet, check out ETSRacingFuels.com. I brought some back from California, so I've got a little bit ready to go for this upcoming Loretta series. But, all right, so in the time since we've been off the air, there's been 3 rounds of Arena Cross. We had round 7 in Guthrie, Oklahoma, and then just past weekend, rounds 8 and 9 from Reno. Look, man, this series kind of is starting to get away. What do you guys say?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I know we're probably about to talk about it, but like the Brees getting docked points kind of was the nail
that's
in
not the
coffin.
first time, right? So
Yeah.
he got docked
Yeah.
for jumping on red at this last round. I think round 8 actually, which was the Friday night in Reno, and then a couple weeks ago, one of the last rounds, same thing. And yeah, unfortunately, Vince is just getting really great starts. That's what he's known for. He continuously gets great starts.
He's hard to pass.
And we're not getting a lot of aggressiveness from these other guys. Like Hicks had an opportunity to run it in on him this last weekend and didn't. And I think Austin Politelli and Ryan Brees not being aggressive enough with Vince has just honestly almost not handed the title to Vince. That's not fair because he's earned it, but they're just not. They're not doing what it's going to take to win a championship against Vince Friese in such a short series. There's 3 races left.
With the way he rides, how good of starts he gets, how hard he is to pass, you can't not be aggressive with him, especially something that tight. You have to force your way past him. You have to hope he makes a mistake when you do. Otherwise, he's just going to.
Because of who Vince is and what he's like kind of known for, I think it kind of overshadowed the fact that wouldn't it kind of been more shocking if he didn't kind of dominate this series? Because of his pedigree, he should be doing this, right?
He should.
I know these other guys, have had a chance, but based on his starts and based on, his accomplishments in both classes of the Supercross series, it's hard to say that it's not a surprise that he's kind of running away with it.
I mean, yes and no, because he definitely should be doing that, but he's not on a whole that much better than Hicks and Brees and everybody. Just you can't race him like you're racing him and expect him to win.
Yeah, I think Vince has almost a 20-point lead. 16
I think it's
points.
26.
Is it 26?
Yeah, I believe so. Hold on.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? 26 points. You're right. 26 points. 3 rounds to go. Yeah, they're racing this weekend in Prescott, Arizona, Friday and Saturday night. And then they got a couple-week break, and then the finals in Daytona. And, yeah, I think Vince has just unfortunately been – that's not fair. I think Vince has been the class of the field. Mm-hmm. Guys like Ryan Brees have been faster. I think Ryan Brees was faster this weekend in Reno, but just the docking a point, the jumping on red that docked him and cost him some spots, cost him some points, really hurt, and some early series issues. And unfortunately, I think it's going to be almost impossible for anybody to win this title at this point
without something catastrophic happening. Yeah,
yeah. But honestly, Ryan Brees, super impressive. Even in Reno, definitely was better than Vince. Overall, the weekend was better in the whoops, and he's doing this with a sore knee. Mm-hmm. I wish we could go back to the first rounds and kind of have a couple little do-overs, because I think we'd have a really good championship, a really cool race to the finish of this series. It's been a good series. Just unfortunately, the guys that needed to didn't do what they needed to do to finish this thing out. Michael Hicks and Brees, and unfortunately, Austin Politelli, I think, has been fast, but not strong enough throughout the whole main event. Yeah. He's lost spots, and they're just not getting the job done.
Yeah, KP getting hurt, going out.
Yeah, I need to find.
That sucks that that's how his streak ends.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm looking for the question. Okay, so TJ, who's not here tonight because he's sick, he said, "Is Vince being in the AMA Arena Cross Series good or bad? Will it bring more guys into it because they think they can beat Vince, or will the guys stay out because they are worried about getting cleaned out and cross-jumped by Vince?" So first of all, I don't think Vince has been that bad with the cross-jumping and that kind of stuff in this series. Mainly
he hasn't
because
had
he's been
to.
leading.
Yeah,
he hasn't
exactly.
had to. But honestly, I think having a guy like Vince in this series could bring other guys of his caliber into the series. Okay, I'm not going to win a title or even probably get a podium in Monster Energy Supercross, but I can go to AMA Arena Cross and battle for a championship and maybe grow that series.
That's a good point. Where would you draw the line in that caliber of guy that where it wouldn't make sense that they win? Say, if Vince went, say guys that are in that kind of same area, I think that was where you would draw the line.
No, I'm just saying. I think Savacci's a guy. I think Savacci's a borderline guy.
I was thinking,
so if that's what you're asking,
I was thinking that or like Benny
Nichols.
Benny could go there and do well, but I think being a factory beta
what I'm
guy,
getting at though,
do that yet.
Yeah, what I'm getting at though is are guys like Cade and Grant and Carnow and those guys going to see if Vince is going over there and winning that series and he's getting these accolades, a spotlight, and probably some pretty decent cash, maybe it'll bring more of them there, and that'll bring more money into it. So
I think a guy like Cade could go do well.
Yeah,
could he beat Vince and Brees? Not sure. I think he's been competitive with guys like Brees.
Yeah.
So sure.
So what's stopping them?
Well, we'd have to ask Cade that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is it just not enough money?
Depends on how they're sponsored or how his sponsors are set up, what they want him to do.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun to watch these last 3 rounds. I would love to see those guys. I really thought Michael Hicks was ready to start getting aggressive after the last round. Not Guthrie, but what was before Guthrie?
Loveland.
Yes, Loveland. I thought that we would see him get more aggressive, and he had an opportunity and didn't. Brees is on the same team, so Brees probably has to be careful a little bit. But these last 3 rounds should be good. I would love to see Brees go out, and I think Ryan Brees can win 2 of the 3.
I think he's faster.
And tighten it up. But Brees is even another 7 points down from Hicks.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, I think this title's over. Vince Friese is more than likely going to win this championship. Again, the other riders.
Does he have a race ahead yet? Is he a race
full
ahead?
race?
Yeah, I think it's 25 to win, right?
Yeah. So
he's a point over him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even if he has one bad race.
Yeah. I think with him coming over, with how much kind of attention Arena Cross has gotten this year, it seemed to like back to how it used to be. I feel like next year there's going to be more money involved, and there's probably going to be some more of those names that come over and try to like dethrone Vince, I guess.
The AMA Arena Cross Series has grown, I think, talent-wise and competition-wise, leaps and bounds this season.
For sure.
So great to see Ryan Brees step up. He raced it last year and gave KP everything he wanted last year. Continued that this year. Austin Politelli got better. Michael Hicks, coming from the other Arena Cross Series into this series, helped elevate that series. And then Vince Friese, Moto Concepts bringing him over. Very good. I was hoping we'd have a little bit tighter points battle, but this is where it's at, man. If you don't go and do what you have to do when you're racing a guy like Vince, then you're going to end up second, third, fourth. It just is what it is. But yeah, 3 more to go, and who knows? I mean, again, I don't see any way Vince loses this title, but there's definitely still room for second, third. Brees and Hicks.
It's still close.
Yeah, pretty close. Austin Politelli's in fourth with another almost 19 points down. So I think AP is going to be finished fourth, but Ryan Brees, Michael Hicks battle for the next 3 rounds could be pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Anything else? Okay. All right. Let's see what is next.
Picks, right?
Huh?
We're not doing the Barnett clutches.
Yeah, we still got that, and then
Sorry.
I want to get your thoughts. Your real quick a 250 East preview. So let's do Barnett. Let me get back over to the reads real quick. And Barnett clutches with 75 years of experience behind them. Barnett Dirt Digger clutch kits feature friction materials exclusive to Barnett for maximum performance and durability. Get 10% off with promo code VITALMX, all caps, at barnettclutches.com and feel the Barnett difference. Okay, we decided this was a TJ suggestion. We can probably hit this one pretty quickly. Barnett clutches, pick one, Supercross or motocross. And I'm going to assume he means what we enjoy watching and why. Chase, you go first.
If I'm actually going to like in person watch, I'd rather go to the Supercross just because everything.
Yeah, it's outdoors is brutal.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's hot. You're way away from the concessions, all that. But I'm chunky. Leave me alone.
Yeah,
I'm feeling that.
good.
I'm feeling it.
Watching on TV, I just much prefer watching outdoors. It's what I actually ride. I understand it a little bit more. You know what I mean? And it's brutal. It's cool to watch, but going to actually to be there, I'd rather be at Supercross.
Scotty?
Yeah, I think that the way I think about it is I'm just grateful that this sport has 2 opposite things that I kind of enjoy equally.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like outdoors for outdoor reasons, and I like Supercross reasons. But gun to my head, if I had to choose one, I think that I get more adrenaline watching the Supercross because it's like the start. It's when the start goes and they're all jumping at the beginning. I don't know. The possibility.
I like the jumps.
The possibility of like who can win and all that stuff is like. I like that more. An outdoor race kind of takes a while to unfold.
Sometimes
I do get more hype for like that first lap when everybody's jumping like that.
Yeah, it's just like who's going to and then tighten up in a bowl corner and all that. So I don't know. I guess if I
Like
had to choose one,
almost landed
Yeah.
on Sexton. You don't see
Yeah,
that outdoors,
yeah, that was
stuff
crazy.
Like that.
MotoXPodShow@gmail.com. Let's get your thoughts on this topic. Next week's T-Bolt USA Top 5 Condiments. By the way,
can we
top
do?
five, I haven't
ahead.
given mine yet, but I was thinking when we did concerts a few weeks ago, well, that was me and ML, but
Yeah.
I forgot to mention Iron Maiden as one of my top 5 concerts somehow, and that has to
Yeah, there
bump
you go.
one of the other ones, by the way. I don't know which one it bumps, but it bumps one of them.
Okay.
So just going back for people, what were you going to ask? Saying
Oh, do your choose one first, and I'll
Okay. Pick one. Get it right, boy.
Barnett Clutch.
You know
choose
what?
one.
Next week's Barnett Clutches pick one should be, is it pick one or choose one? We'll let the listeners decide.
Yeah.
Pick one or choose one. I'm going to go MXGP. It wasn't even on the table. No.
I do like watching GPs.
I think as a show, look, I always say this like with concerts. When I go to a concert, I want a show.
Mm-hmm.
I want freaking flames and explosions and cool shit. And that's what you get with Supercross. So overall package, watching it on TV, especially watching it live, Supercross is better to go watch. Motocross is maybe more impressive because of what it physically takes and how abusive it is on the bikes.
And the natural terrain.
Yeah.
and that, yeah.
But I guess if I'm going to pick one, if I had to pick one and I don't ever get to watch the other one again, I'd probably go Supercross.
Yeah.
There's going to be traditionalists that hate that, but
That's a good point though, because I love some of like the camera views that they get in outdoors. Where like
There's some cool
there's
ones.
probably like a dude perched up in a tree somewhere with the camera, and like just the views that they get sometimes and the angles that they get, it's just so cool.
I mean, every year at the end of the Supercross, you're like, man, I can't wait for or
Yeah.
outdoors to start. And the end of outdoors, I can't wait for Supercross. So
yeah.
we're spoiled. We get the fact that we even get to choose is cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
we're lucky. We're lucky. And MXGP kicks off soon.
I was just gonna ask when we could do that one that I'd come up with about the different race teams.
I don't remember.
Choose one, 80s Honda, late 90s, early 2000s PC, or like late 2010s
Oh,
Star.
well, I guess we'll do it after condiments, but you're going to probably have to remind me.
That's not top. That's top 5. I'm
Oh,
talking
pick,
about choose one.
okay, so we can do it next week. So give the list again.
Okay, pick
Barnett
Okay,
clutches.
the category
Pick
is
one.
pick one of all time like
Teams.
race teams.
Yep.
The 80s Honda.
So RJ,
Yeah.
Bailey.
Even early, if you want to go to 90s with like Stanton and McGrath and that, like that era of just Honda dominance,
Okay.
or the era of PC dominance in the early 2000s, or the late 2010s to the kind of now of the Star Yamaha.
I got my answer already, but that will be, we'll do that one as the
that's a good one.
official Barnett pick one for next week, but you can send in pick one versus choose one at MotoXpod Show.
And why Scotty's right, it should be choose one.
Scotty's never right. Okay, before we get to our FXR picks for Tampa, let's do a quick 250 East preview. Okay, just basically, I'm going to name the riders that should be in. We'll talk. We'll just kind of say maybe 2 or 3 guys that we're most excited about, and then we'll do our picks. Fair?
Sounds good to me.
All right, Austin Forkner, Max Anstey, Tom Vial, defending champion, Levi Kitchen, Maximus Volan, RJ Hampshire, Cullen Park, Seth Hammaker. Chance Hymas is questionable whether he'll race the first round. Cameron McAdoo is going to race. He is not 100%. Pierce Brown, possibly not 100%. Daxton Bennick, Nate Thrasher, Styles Robertson, Romano, Swole's out. Mark Finnis should be good. So that's the key, kind of the key guys that stand out.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I'm really excited to see Max on Club MX, Maximus Volan.
Yeah.
I'm excited about a lot of these guys. Like you'll kind of see who my picks are, but the guys that I'm just kind of like, I wonder how they're going to do. Maximus Volan, Pierce Brown for sure on Star. I expect big things out of him. I'm hoping for big things out of him. And Austin Forkner on Triumph. I've already mentioned he's my pick for the win in Tampa. So those are kind of the guys that, to me, I'm like, can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah, it's kind of a throw a dart at the board kind of situation.
Yep.
Which, all these guys have reasons why they could or could not win, like if we've seen the ups and downs from all of them. So it's just like, it's almost like this sounds worse than what I mean, but it's kind of the championship of misfit toys, like the Island of Misfit Toys. It's like all these guys that have, there's nobody really like that's up and coming that's super hyped in this class. It's all guys that have had to work to get to this point, it seems like.
Sure,
and it's
okay.
like they're all battle hardened kind of guys.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to provide.
Other than maybe
for,
Hymas, but he's not healthy.
Yeah.
Fully healthy.
yeah. I thought you were saying that he's one of the ones that's.
Well, he's questionable
He's still-
because of the knee.
Yeah, but he's still. It's not like he's his rookie year or anything. Or
No, but he's not. He's certainly not. I don't think he's seasoned.
I think he's still.
I guess when I said that more of like a Juju or Deegan or Davies kind of situation.
I don't think he's that far off. Though.
Yeah, he's pretty
okay,
close.
okay. Barring Hymas,
But that's
all the
fine.
other guys.
Yeah. Okay, but so give me two that really stand out for you that you're most excited about. Like we have that question. I think on our.
Yeah, I think Kitchen. I think this is kind of. I think if anybody's is his to lose, would be Kitchen.
Okay.
And if anybody had kind of the edge as being one step above those guys, that's who I would say. So I'm excited to see how he handles that pressure. And then Fortner. I want to see this go well for once.
Same.
Like that's what I want to see.
Okay, Chase.
So I'm really curious to see what Styles does going over to.
He's been quiet.
Yeah, well, he's been quiet, and last year didn't go great. I mean, the Styles, the Triumph thing kind of came out of nowhere. I didn't expect that. So I'm really curious to see how he does and how things have been going. And then I really want to see Volan do well after he kind of got the shit end of the stick last year with all the things he had to deal with. And he only got 1 year at PC, and I don't think that was – I don't think Mitch wanted to let him go. I don't think he really had a choice on that. But I don't know. I hope Volan does well.
Is
really like
is there 2 or 3 weeks before they go back to East Triple Crown? Isn't that crazy that they're doing 2 Triple Crowns back to back for West Coast in their schedule?
What do you mean back?
Well, there's always one coast has one more.
I know,
than the other.
but that's their 2 races in a row for West Coast is Triple Crown and Triple Crown.
Oh yeah.
So is it 2 or 3 in between now and
I
then?
think it's 3 rounds because it's
Okay,
I think it's
so-
Tampa, Detroit, Arlington.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tampa,
And then
Detroit,
back west.
Arlington, and then
Okay, so let's
Oh
say
wait, is Arlington West this year?
I think it's east.
It's-
I don't
it's
know. I have
west.
to look.
Yeah, it
I
is
thought-
West this year. It's
yeah.
West this year.
So maybe 2 weeks.
So yeah, two races.
2 races.
Yeah.
Okay. Who would
is
you
it?
say would be more surprising to have the championship lead after those 2 weeks? Anstey, Volan, Hammaker, or let's put who's kind of in that area like
Well, I think Anstey could likely have the points
Yeah,
lead. So
Anstey-
that wouldn't be a surprise at all. You're asking who would be the most
Yeah.
surprising? Okay, so Anstey's out. For me.
okay.
Probably
Okay.
Volan.
But you said Hammaker and Volan?
Yeah, and then who's another guy that's kind of right on that? Vial.
I
Let's say
don't know.
Vial.
You put Anstey in
Let's
with
say,
that group.
let's say Vial.
Vial's a,
Well, Vial's the defending champ.
Yeah,
So he's
really,
out.
but yeah, well,
I think that of those guys you mentioned, the most unlikely guy to have the points lead would be Seth Hammaker.
I think Volan
really, I think Volan would. Yeah.
with
Okay.
the deal he had with his hip, all the nerve pain, moving
I
bikes.
feel like him and Seth and
It's
Max
close.
would be pretty close, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I've always had probably a higher
And Seth's-
opinion of Max than his results, so maybe that's
me
why.
too. I really like
Yeah.
Max too.
So yeah, that'd be my answer. What about you? You asked it.
Oh, probably Voland.
Okay. All right, let's wrap this thing up with the FXR picks for Tampa. We already did the FXR read with Chris, but we'll do it again. FXR is designed by racers for racers. With industry-leading fit, finish, and performance, progression is the name of the game with every new piece created. Used by Kris Keefer. There you go, Chris. You went first. Visit fxrracing.com or go to your local dealership and ask for the complete line of FXR gear. Here's the deal. Tonight, we're going to do our 450 podium picks for Tampa, as well as our 250 East podium picks for Tampa. When I was in California and I did the show with ML, we said if anybody gets the 450 podium picks correctly, we would give them a FXR casual care package, which is a hat and a shirt. Nobody got it right. So this week, if you get all of them correct, all 6, podium 450, podium 250, you're going to get a set of FXR clutch gear, pants and jersey, and probably some gloves. But you got to get all 6. If nobody gets all 6, but they get the 450 podium, we'll do the casual giveaway, okay? Hat and shirt. So, MotoXpod show@gmail.com is the email to send us your picks, podium picks for 450s and 250s for Tampa. You got to get them in by Friday. They come in Saturday. I may not see them. It will be time stamped, but just get them in by Friday. It's not that hard. And you can win a set of gear. Pretty cool?
Yeah.
Yep.
Thought that was pretty cool. So thanks to Andy White and the guys at FXR for agreeing to that. So I've already wrote mine down. Do you want to hear mine? Or
Yeah, go ahead.
You want me to go first?
Yep.
Okay, so my 450 podium picks. First place, Eli Tomac, Sexton, Cooper Webb. 250 East, podium number 1, Faulkner, Kitchen. I put Brown / Anstie. I'm going to go Anstie for third. That's my picks.
All right.
I am not eligible for gear. Neither are you two
Yep.
jabronis. Scotty?
I don't even have to fix gear.
Huh?
Nothing.
You don't have a bike?
450s?
Yeah. 450s.
Give
I'm
me
going to go.
first through third.
First Tomac,
Okay.
Sexton, Cooper, Webb, and third Roxon.
Whoa.
First place Tomac, second place Cooper Webb, third place Roxon.
Did you not say
You said Sexton in
Yeah,
there
you said
too.
Sexton, Cooper, Webb. So I thought that was 1, 2, 3. Okay, so Sexton's
said
not
Coo-
on
I
your
said
podium.
Cooper.
You definitely said
You
Sexton.
said
in
Eli
there.
Tomac, Sexton.
Oh, I meant, to say,
Webb,
I, meant,
Kenny.
I meant to say Cooper Webb.
Okay, so no Sexton.
Yeah.
Webb,
Kenny.
Ken. Okay,
Yeah. I want to see Chase win this weekend, but
I don't care what you want. What's your 250?
But that's what I'm picking. Okay, fine. Go ahead. Move on.
I'm giving you shit. That's what it
It
is.
just seems like every time he gets the red plate, something like
Yeah.
it's like weird the next week.
Sure.
I don't know if that has. I don't know. It's weird.
Okay.
And then 250s. I'm gonna go Kitchen, Vial, Pierce.
Okay. Chase?
Let's go Tomac, Webb, Hunter Lawrence.
Wow.
I think he's kind of fired up after the fifths.
He's Tampa's got a good vibe for him too, right?
Yeah.
250s?
Let's go Pierce. He's going to keep it going from SMX last year. Kitchen, Vial.
Okay. All right. Good show, man.
Yeah.
Good show. Thanks to Michael
Because you're
Mosiman.
back with us.
Huh?
Nothing.
You're back home.
Michael Mosiman, Seth Hammaker, Kris Keefer. Thanks to Chase and Scotty for coming in. We want to thank all of our sponsors, Race Tech and Yamaha Motor USA, for presenting the show. We want to thank X Brand, Evans Coolant, Guts Racing, T-Boat USA, Barnett Clutches, ETS Racing Fuels, FXR, and ProX. We'll be back next week with another show. MotoXpod Show, gmail.com to enter the contest, and anything else you want to jump in on. I think that's it. Anything else, guys?
Nope.
All right. We're out. See you next week.